Chapter 2890. In the Evil God Universe, Somewhere in the Void. At this moment, Xia Ping had entered the world of the classic of mountains and seas. He had gained a lot this time. He had killed a lower god. Not only had he obtained the other party's corpse, but he had also obtained the other party's godhead and even refined the other party's soul. It could be said that this was a great harvest, and he had obtained endless benefits. Godhead. Xia Ping held the godhead left by the god of trickery in his hand. It was hexagonal and looked like a crystal. The material was extremely hard. He knew that this was a crystallization of the great path laws. It was harder than ordinary divine artifacts. His divine senses penetrated it and could sense that there was an endless aura of the great path in the depths of the godhead. It recorded the god of trickery's authority, intelligence reduction. This was not a simple authority. Under certain circumstances, it could play an incredible role. If he wanted to obtain the god of trickery's authority, he could just devour this godhead and inherit the other party's authority. However, this would completely limit his future development. He could only walk the path of the god of trickery. Any demigod with a bit of future would not be stupid enough to do this. Of course, some demigods without potential would naturally be willing. Otherwise, they would not have the chance to become gods. Therefore, the godhead was also a treasure that many demigods fought over. If it was before, Xia Ping could not obtain the god of trickery's authority without devouring his godhead. However, now that he had condensed the feathered serpent god's clone, he had obtained the feathered serpent god's unique authority, replication. With this ability, he could replicate most of the great path laws, and even the authority of gods. This was a heaven-defying talent and authority. Among so many gods, so far, only the feathered serpent god had this talent. Replication. In an instant, Xia Ping immediately activated his feathered serpent god clone and activated the authority replication. Rumble, in the next second, he sensed his soul power spreading out and forming a bubble that enveloped the god of intrigue's godhead in an instant. The powerful and mysterious authority power immediately analyzed the mysteries of the god of intrigue's godhead and copied all the information of the great Tao laws within the godhead. 5 great path laws. Xia Ping immediately sensed that the god of trickery's godhead contained 5 great path laws. They were all information of the great path laws related to intelligence reduction. Although one could become a low god by mastering one great Tao edict, not every low god could only master one great Tao edict. In fact, this was merely the most basic requirement to become a low god. A top-notch lower deity had mastered 9 great path laws, while a low-level lower deity had only mastered 1 great path law. A lower deity like the god of trickery was considered to be in the middle, neither good nor bad. Only by mastering the 10 great Tao laws could one achieve the power of a medium god. Is this the grand Tao law? Xia Ping's eyes lit up. By using the power of authority replication, he analyzed all the information of the great Tao laws in the godhead. He discovered that if sages comprehended the laws of heaven and earth and condensed them into runes of laws, then when gods comprehended the laws of the great path, they condensed countless runes of laws together and formed chains of the great path. In other words, only when countless law runes were gathered together could they form a great Tao. Therefore, the great path laws were much more powerful than ordinary laws. It was as if all the power was condensed together and underwent a qualitative transformation. Moreover, the power of the great path contained an extremely corrosive nature. It could easily control ordinary laws and command the world. It could even change the genes of life and purify blood. Under the shroud of the great path domain, other domains could not move or exert any power. As expected of the feathered serpent god's authority. It's really too powerful. Xia Ping was extremely excited. He sensed that the feathered serpent god's authority replication was definitely a nature-defying ability. This power was not as simple as just replicating the enemy's authority. Instead, it dissected all the mysteries of the other party's power. It knew what it was and why it was. Therefore, the feathered serpent god was so powerful. Not only did it copy all the power of other gods, but it could also surpass the original and derive even more powerful power. Often, the authority that the feathered serpent god controlled could exert more power than the original owner. This was because the feathered serpent god had a clearer understanding of the Great Path laws. This was a super powerful auxiliary ability that was even more powerful than those battle-type authority. To a certain extent, the feathered serpent god was actually a scholar-type god. By dissecting the power of other gods, he took the other party's power as his own and mastered it thoroughly. He could even surpass the original god. This was also why countless evil gods were so afraid of the feathered serpent god. They were willing to pay any price to kill the feathered serpent god. Otherwise, they would be finished. 5 Great Path Laws? Xia Ping realized that in just half a day, the God of Schemes Godhead's 5 Great Path Laws had been successfully replicated. They were completely integrated into the feathered serpent god's clone. Naturally, the authority within them was also grasped by the feathered serpent god's clone. At the same time, he was more familiar with the Great Path Laws. It's not impossible for me to break through from demigod to higher god. Xia Ping clenched his fists. If it had been before, he would not have had such confidence. After all, it was not easy to comprehend the Great Path Laws. However, with the feathered serpent god's authority, he could learn from others. As long as he could find enough godheads, he would be able to replicate a large number of Great Path Laws from the godheads. Then, he would integrate these Great Path Laws into each of his clones. After all, each clone was actually a person. If one clone understood, the other clones would naturally understand as well. The wisdom and cultivation experience between clones could be transmitted. He had a total of 9 clones. If his main body was included, it would be equivalent to 10 people. Each clone only needed to master 10 Great Path Laws. When Xia Ping advanced from demigod to higher god, the 9 clones and his main body would merge into one. Then, he would be able to instantly master hundreds of Great Path Laws and advance to higher god. If each clone mastered 100 Great Path Laws, then when all the clones merged, he would be able to master more than 1,000 Great Path Laws. He might even be able to advance to Dominator God. Of course, this could only be achieved under ideal circumstances. The first problem was that there were not that many godheads in this universe that could be replicated and comprehended. After all, godheads were rather precious treasures. They were even more precious than divine artifacts. They were not that easy to obtain. Moreover, if he wanted to advance, he would need to accumulate a huge amount of origin energy. If he did not have enough origin energy, he would fail during the advancement process. If he failed once, he would no longer have the chance to advance. He could only be trapped in the demigod realm until he died. Therefore, he had to be extremely cautious when advancing to God realm. He could not attempt it easily. Chapter 2891. Looks like I need to expand the number of Golden Crow dependents. Xia Ping squinted. If he wanted to become a god, he needed to store enough origin energy. He couldn't do that in the modern universe. Only in the evil god universe would he be able to store enough energy. That way, the number of furnace wizards would increase. It would be best if every human in the evil god universe could become a furnace wizard and become the dependents of the Golden Crow. That would make him rich. The evil gods were in a state of hibernation, so they wouldn't sense anything. After all, it had only been a few thousand years. To the evil gods, a nap was nothing. When they woke up, the situation in the evil god universe would completely change. If he didn't succeed before the evil gods reacted, there would be trouble in the future. The increase in the number of furnace wizards would be greatly hindered. Of course, if this plan succeeded, he wouldn't need to be afraid of the evil gods. Every furnace wizard's body contained the infernal Golden Crow's flames. The more powerful the furnace wizard, the more terrifying the flame power within their body. When they were alive, they could sacrifice evil creatures and burn countless evil god minions to death. Even if they died, they could turn into the undying Golden Crow flames that burned forever. Even the evil gods couldn't easily extinguish them. If all the humans in the world became furnace wizards, then even the evil gods would be afraid of them. This was because they didn't dare to kill all the humans. Once the humans died, the entire world would be covered by the Golden Crow flames and become an eternal world of fire. It could be said that he was in an invincible position. The power of the Golden Crow would slowly eat away at the evil god universe until all the evil gods were completely devoured and killed. This was like what the evil gods had done to the hellish world. However, Xia Ping was using the humans of the evil god universe to deal with the evil gods, making them fight among themselves. This would weaken the evil god universe's origin energy and speed up its destruction. Luckily, my Golden Crow of Hell bloodline is stronger now, so I can create more furnace wizards. Xia Ping clenched his fists. At this moment he had awakened 30 trillion Golden Crow cells. The Golden Crow bloodline was much stronger than before. Thanks to the increase in his bloodline power, countless furnace wizards discovered that the flames in their bodies had also become stronger. They could also condense more furnace seeds, allowing humans to produce more furnace wizards. If I want to carry out this plan, I'll need to increase my own strength. If an evil god spawn awakens a lesser god, I'll need to have the strength to deal with those lesser gods. Xia Ping knew that in the evil god universe, those ruler evil gods, higher gods, middle gods, and other gods were all in a deep slumber. They were all severely injured. Even if the believers tried to awaken them, they might not succeed. Only those demigods whose injuries weren't as severe could be successfully awakened. It could be said that his opponents were most likely those awakened demigods. Of course, if he was unlucky and a mid-god awakened, he would escape. He would wait until he became stronger before entering the fiend god universe to harvest the origin energy. As for increasing my strength, it is not very reliable to increase my cultivation level. It seems that I can only unseal the reincarnation brush. Xia Ping had just advanced to the early demigod realm. It was impossible for him to advance too much in a short period of time. Otherwise, his foundation would be unstable. Since he could not increase his cultivation level, he could only focus on external objects. For example, the reincarnation brush and the Book of Karma were both extremely powerful divine weapons. Once the seal on them was unsealed, their power would erupt immediately. Moreover, he had accumulated enough origin energy. He should be able to unseal the reincarnation brush. Thinking of this, he immediately took out the reincarnation brush without hesitation. Rumble, in an instant, suns formed by origin energy gushed out from the depths of his sea of consciousness. They emitted a scorching aura and the energy was extremely pure without any impurities. These suns of energy flowed into the reincarnation brush as if they were free. At this moment, the reincarnation brush seemed to have come to life. It seemed to have its own consciousness. It crazily swallowed the origin energy of the universe. Xia Ping did not know how much origin energy the reincarnation brush had swallowed. He only knew that he had instilled all the origin energy into the reincarnation brush, leaving nothing behind. Anyway, as long as he unsealed the reincarnation brush, he could earn back all the origin energy. This was what it meant to do a good job with a good tool. This was the power of the reincarnation brush, a divine weapon. The origin energy seemed to form a tidal wave and crazily attacked the 5 layers of seals in the depths of the reincarnation brush. Even though these seals were extremely powerful, they could not withstand such a huge impact of energy. In an instant, the layers of seals in the reincarnation brush were torn apart as if they were dry weeds and rotten wood. All the seals and runes were completely shattered. It was as if the reincarnation brush had pierced through the seals. The second layer of seals, the third layer of seals, the fourth layer of seals, and the fifth layer of seals. It was as if all 5 layers of seals had been opened at this moment. Rumble, Xia Ping sensed that all 5 layers of seals in the depths of the reincarnation brush had been unsealed. A terrifying aura of eternity, antiquity, chaos, reincarnation, life and death, destiny, and so on emanated from the reincarnation brush. The entire world of the classic of mountains and seas was shaking and countless laws were in disorder. After all, the classic of mountains and seas was only a supreme divine weapon. It could not withstand the power of a divine weapon like the reincarnation brush. Without saying anything, Xia Ping's figure flashed and immediately left the world of the classic of mountains and seas. The power of the reincarnation brush had torn the world of the classic of mountains and seas, causing this supreme divine weapon to be irreparably damaged. He directly came to a cosmic void. There was nothing around him and no life came. It was extremely remote, so he did not need to worry about the reincarnation brush being discovered by other evil gods. Dense hell scriptures appeared on the body of the reincarnation brush. Every hell scripture seemed to come to life, shining with a dark golden light. It caused a huge vibration and a buzzing sound with the origin law. The tip of the brush contained infinite power of sharpness. It seemed that a gentle stroke could dissolve chaos, separate heaven and earth, separate yin and yang, and separate life and death. It seemed that this brush contained the supreme power of the great path law. In the next second, Xia Ping found that his soul easily merged with the reincarnation brush. He directly refined the reincarnation brush and formed a spiritual connection with it. Immediately, he felt a huge amount of information coming from the depths of the reincarnation brush. It seemed to be about the various ways to use the reincarnation brush and its powerful abilities. Such information could only be obtained after becoming the owner of the reincarnation brush. Chapter 2892. The Reincarnation Brush. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He had obtained too much information from the reincarnation brush. After opening the first seal, he obtained the first ability of the reincarnation brush, Soul Hook. With a gentle wave, he could draw out the enemy's soul from their body. After opening the second seal, he obtained the second ability, Life Steal. It could steal the enemy's life, or rather, life energy. With the reincarnation brush, he was basically invincible. He could easily steal the enemy's life and then devour it. The more he fought, the stronger he became. Often, the enemy would die of old age or die of exhaustion without knowing it. After opening the third seal, he obtained the third ability, Reincarnation. This ability could draw out the 6 paths of reincarnation and seal the souls of enemies or allies in the Book of Karma. They would be trapped in the endless cycle of reincarnation, unable to escape. Once someone was in the Book of Life and Death, their life and death would no longer be under their control. This was an ability that came with the Book of Karma. After opening the 4th seal, he obtained the 4th ability, World Destruction. This was an unparalleled attack. The reincarnation brush shot out, tearing the endless void. It was like bringing about the end of the world, completely destroying everything. After opening the 5th seal, he obtained the 5th and final ability, Fate Change. This ability could change almost certain fates. It could change all the trajectories of fate, turning bad things into good things, and turning good things into super good things. It could be said that this ability already involved the laws of fate. Moreover, it was rarely used. Every time it was used, one had to be prepared to die. This was because the more powerful the changed fate, the greater the price one had to pay. As expected of a divine weapon. It's really powerful. Xia Ping clenched his fists, extremely excited. After completely unsealing, the reincarnation brush had shown its glory as a top divine weapon. It contained extremely terrifying abilities. Every one of them was almost close to the laws. With the reincarnation brush, he would be fearless even when facing a lower god at his peak. He could easily draw out the enemy's soul and kill the evil god. Right? There's also the Book of Karma. Xia Ping took out the Book of Karma. In fact, it wasn't just the reincarnation brush that had been unsealed. The Book of Karma had also been unsealed. It had recovered its peak power. This book contained densely packed karma grand Tao laws, and it emitted an unfathomable aura. At this moment, the name on the Book of Karma shone even more brilliantly, releasing golden radiance like a golden engraving, releasing an undying aura. Truth be told, the Book of Karma had become even more powerful. Any name that was recorded in the Book of Karma would have their souls returned to the Book of Karma after their deaths. In other words, countless furnace wizards had signed a contract with the Book of Karma. Their souls were completely protected by the Book of Karma, and they could not be corrupted by evil gods. Even if the furnace sorcerers were killed by the evil gods would not be able to devour their souls. Instead, All of their souls would be summoned back to the inner world of the Book of Karma in an instant. Even sovereign gods were unable to stop these souls from returning to the Book of Karma. This was because this was the law of the great Tao of Karma. It was something that was bound to happen, and there was no way to stop it. Looks like this furnace wizard's plan is more appropriate. Xia Ping was very excited. Even if the furnace wizards were killed by the evil gods, their souls wouldn't be devoured. That way, the evil gods wouldn't be able to quickly recover from their injuries, and it would speed up their deaths. This meant that even if the furnace wizards died, their souls were still there and they could reincarnate. They were like undying warriors. But there was a problem. One must know why humans were food for evil gods and their kin and not other living beings. That was because humans were special beings. Their souls were abnormally strong, much stronger than normal living beings. They were weak in combat and stamina, but their souls were really strong. They had strong reproductive abilities too. To evil beings and evil gods, they were the best delicacies. Each time evil gods wanted to increase their strength or recover from injuries, they needed to devour large amounts of human souls. That way, they could speed up the recovery of their injuries. This was why humans were a really important resource for evil gods. But it was different now. If each human soul couldn't be devoured by the evil gods, it would be like heavily injuring them. Their injuries wouldn't be able to recover in a short time, and their strength wouldn't be able to increase quickly. This was pretty much asking for the evil gods' lives. If they found out about this, they would definitely fight to the death with Xia Ping. He was breaking their genes, digging their graves, and cutting off their food. It would be weird if they didn't fight to the death. So, that is the case. Xia Ping thought about Hell's strongest god artifact, 6 Paths of Reincarnation. This god artifact had the ability to allow numerous hell beings to reincarnate. Even if they were killed, they could revive in the 6 Paths of Reincarnation. The Book of Cause and Effect and Reincarnation Brush were parts of the 6 Paths of Reincarnation. They were really important parts. With this god artifact, people were invincible in Hell World. They swept the world and gave birth to many demon gods. If the 6 Paths of Reincarnation could appear, Hell World wouldn't have to worry about gods from other universes invading. Forget it, let's not think about this for now. The most important thing now is to turn every human into a furnace wizard. Even a baby can become a furnace wizard. That way, those evil gods will definitely die and the entire evil god universe will fall into my hands. Xia Ping clenched his fists and his eyes shone brightly. Fortunately, the evil gods were in deep sleep and didn't notice Xia Ping's plan, which allowed his plan to proceed smoothly. If the evil gods found out that Xia Ping was digging up their foundations, they would probably fight Xia Ping to the death. Even if they chased him to the ends of the world, they would kill Xia Ping, this bad guy, completely. It could be said that Xia Ping's harm to the evil god universe was many times greater than feathered serpent gods. Of course, these evil gods didn't know about this as they were still in deep sleep. To the evil gods, sleeping for hundreds of thousands of years was too normal. A short few thousand years or 10,000 years was just a few minutes of rest. This was Xia Ping's chance. No matter how hard these evil gods thought, they wouldn't have expected such a huge change to happen in just a few thousand years. Once these evil gods woke up, they would probably realize that the entire universe had changed to a level that they weren't familiar with. Chapter 2893. In a blink of an eye, 10,000 years had passed in the heretic god universe. Although this amount of time was only about 3 months in the modern universe, to the heretic god universe, it was a true 10,000 years. In these 10,000 years, Xia Ping had traveled to nearly every world in the heretic god universe. He spared no effort in spreading the furnace seeds, causing countless humans to become furnace magi. And these first batch of furnace magi quickly spread the glory of the furnace lord. They took in a large number of disciples, and the disciples took in disciples without any reservations. As such, after hundreds of generations, nearly all the humans in the world had become furnace magi. They had the bloodline of the golden crow of hell in them, and became dependents of the golden crow of hell. This was like a plague spreading at a speed that far exceeded the imaginations of the heretic gods. Of course, Not every human became a furnace magi. There were a few that did not, but compared to the entire human race, this number was a minority. It did not matter much. Due to the massive increase in furnace magi, many of the heretic gods' dependents felt threatened. They attempted to awaken their gods, but most of them were stopped by Xia Ping. He instantly killed the heretic gods' dependents, not giving them any chance to awaken their gods. Of course, a number of them succeeded, awakening dozens of low gods. Unfortunately, the appearance of these low gods was long known by Xia Ping. He laid an ambush ahead of time, and the moment they awakened, he brazenly attacked and instantly killed all the low gods, eliminating the scourge. As a result, he had an additional 50 to 60 divine sparks of low gods on him. He had devoured large amounts of Origin's energy. Therefore, the 10,000 years were considered a daunting experience without any mishaps. This allowed the Human Furnace Magi project to quickly proceed, allowing the furnace seeds to be spread on every human. It was not only limited to humans. Other non-human creatures could become furnace magi as long as they were not dependents of the heretic god. As such, the increase in furnace magi far exceeded Xia Ping's imagination. At that moment, the Azure Wood Great World was a human world in the heretic god universe. Human cities appeared in this world, and in every human city, there was an altar of the furnace lord that burned with inextinguishable flames. The flames soared into the sky and covered the entire city. A terrifying flame aura burned in all directions. One of the main cities was called Willow City. At the center of the city, many humans were offering sacrifices to the furnace lord. They were incomparably pious. They threw evil creatures into the furnace lord's altar, and they instantly burst into flames, turning into ashes and transforming into rich Origin energy. "Father, what are you doing?" A 3 to 4-year-old child asked curiously. "They're offering sacrifices to the furnace lord. It's because of the furnace lord that we humans have the space to survive." A middle-aged man at the side said in a deep voice, 10,000 years ago, we humans were in the Dark Age. We were forced into a corner by heretics, demons, evil spirits, and other creatures. They saw humans as food and human lives as worthless. Fortunately, the furnace lord appeared and gave us the power to resist these creatures of darkness. With the power of fire in our bodies, we can burn all evil creatures, so we finally have a chance to survive in this world. He was extremely emotional. If humans didn't live 10,000 years ago, they wouldn't be able to imagine how dark the lives of humans were. Living to 30 years old was already considered a long-lived species, 12 years old was considered an adult, and 13 years old had to marry and have children. The goal was to extend the lifespan of their race and increase their population. But now, with the power of fire, they can expel these evil creatures. With the power to resist, these evil creatures can no longer easily kill humans. In this world, humans finally have a place to stand. Furthermore, the lifespan of humans has been greatly extended, reaching hundreds or even thousands of years. It is said that some powerful furnace wizards have lived for over 10,000 years without dying. Do you see that flame? That's the furnace fire, an important flame that protects our city. As long as the furnace fire is not extinguished, no heretics or evil spirits will be able to enter our city. The middle-aged man pointed at the dark golden flame in the middle of the altar. The malevolent spirits, and evil worshippers that had killed countless humans could no longer be arrogant. Even if they had no physical form, they would immediately reveal their true forms once they were within the range of the furnace's flames. They would even be burned to ashes. This kind of furnace fire had become an important power for human cities. Every human city was built around the furnace fire. Some small towns and villages also had their own furnace fire, which could resist evil spirits to the greatest extent. Of course, outside the range of the furnace fire, the evil spirits and heretics are still very active, so the wild is still very dangerous for humans. Only the powerful furnace wizards can survive in the wild. "Father, look, there are so many babies." The child cried out excitedly. He saw many mothers holding their children in their hands walk up to the altar. Then, they gently put the babies down and stood to the side. "These are newborn babies. They came to the altar to receive the furnace seed's blessing. This way, they can become furnace wizards and avoid being harmed by other heretics. When you were born, you also came here to receive the furnace seed's blessing. The middle-aged man smiled. The furnace seed is very important to humans. It is like air, it cannot be lost. If the baby did not receive the furnace seed, once the heretics invaded them, they will die without a doubt. But if they have the furnace seed, their body will have an inextinguishable flame. Even if it is very weak, the heretics will not dare to invade them. This greatly increases the probability of survival. So after tens of thousands of years of development, all newborn humans will choose to receive the furnace seed's blessing and become furnace wizards. In fact, this is also one of the reasons why furnace wizards developed so quickly. They are all forced by the evil creatures of the outside world. If they do not do this, the death rate of weak humans is very high. Under the pressure of the outside world, humans naturally know which power they should choose. This is a bit like the end of a dynasty. Natural disasters and man-made disasters will cause people to lose their homes and starve to death. As long as someone calls for help, countless refugees will be absorbed and the rotten dynasty will be overthrown. This is the situation. It is not that Xia Ping is too smart, but these evil gods are too oppressive towards humans. They are harvested like weeds, causing humans to rebel. It is fine if they cannot rebel, but once they have power, humans will drag the evil gods down from their altar. Third Gate Master. Chapter 2894. Just then, a group of human elders walked over. All of them had bulging muscles and were extremely strong. Their bodies seemed to contain terrifying furnace flames. Each of them was dragging a powerful evil creature as they approached the altar. "Look, the elders are here." The group of people cried out in surprise. They recognized that these were the elders of Willow City. They were also the most powerful furnace wizards in the city, and they possessed supreme battle power. "What is this creature that the elders are dragging?" Someone asked curiously. "This is an evil god's minion, the famous Securotor star monster. It's a lord-level evil creature within 1,000,000 kilometers. I didn't expect it to be captured by the elders." Many people cried out in surprise. If a lord-class evil creature died nearby, the danger around them would be greatly reduced. People would be safer in the wild. "Ha, you little fellows are quite lucky this time." A gray-robed old man laughed out loud. He looked at the group of babies with a benevolent expression. "Sacrifice this Securotor star monster and you'll definitely gain the favor of the Furnace Lord. When the time comes, you'll definitely be rewarded with a large number of powerful furnace seeds." Hearing this, many people became excited and incomparably joyful. The furnace seeds were also divided into different grades. Some were weak and some were strong. Although this might not determine the future of humanity, it was undoubtedly an extremely high starting point and had an innate advantage. It was like a 10,000-meter race. Everyone else was standing at the starting line, but some people had already run hundreds of meters. There was a huge gap from the start. If such a person in the lead also worked hard, then no matter how hard others tried, they would not be able to catch up. Therefore, obtaining a powerful furnace seed was something that they greatly desired. This matter also had a lot to do with the sacrificial items. "Stupid humans, let me go immediately. I'm the mighty evil god's minion. Do you know what the consequences will be if you kill me? The mighty evil god won't let you off. All of you have to die. All of you have to die. Do you understand?" The Securotor star monster roared furiously. It was extremely furious. It was extremely annoyed. It had never been so aggrieved in its entire life. 10,000 years ago, these humans were just weak food. They weren't a match for evil god minions like them. Countless human villages were like rice paddies that were hunted down by them. But after 10,000 years, everything changed. These humans possessed extremely great power and occupied one city after another. In turn, these humans actually began to hunt these evil creatures, capturing all of them and sacrificing them. The whole world had changed. It had become a little strange. Now, it was the evil creatures' turn to hide from these human powerhouses. If this was a dream, it wished it could wake up immediately. "Won't let us go?" You make it sound like you would have let us off 10,000 years ago. Do you think that if we let you off, the evil god's minions wouldn't hunt us humans? The gray-robed old man sneered in disdain. Hearing this, the star monster Secrotor was stunned and speechless. The so-called threat was to use the other party's most important thing, the most important bargaining chip, to threaten the other party. This way, the other party would compromise in order to avoid the most serious consequences. But no matter what the humans did, it would be the worst outcome. Thus, it was better to just kill these evil god minions. That way, they could drag some of them down with them. Things were really obvious. Whether or not humans killed the evil god minions, if the evil gods found out about this, they wouldn't let them off. Since that was the case, they might as well just kill them. After so many years, not many evil gods woke up. Even if they did, they were burned to death by the furnace master. So, they didn't fear their threats at all. Hong Long Long, as soon as he said that, the Secrotor was thrown into the altar by the gray-robed old man. Immediately, the infernal golden crow flames burned and devoured the flesh and blood of the Secrotor. Ah! Instantly, the star monster cried out in pain. Its body started to burn and it was swallowed by the hell crow flames. It was burned to ashes. Walala in the next second, the entire altar lit up and countless dark golden spots of light appeared. That was the furnace seed. The furnace master has responded to our request and granted us the furnace seed. Many human elders cried out in excitement. So. In the next second, the dark gold motes of light entered the babies on the altar. Immediately, the babies' bodies devoured all of the furnace seeds, and a powerful aura spread out from their bodies. The bunch of human elders couldn't help but stroke their white beards. They were really satisfied that humans could continue. At this moment, in another place, where the evil god minions gathered, their faces were dark and sunken. They were all different evil god minions and couldn't stand on the same side in the past. But now, under the pressure of humans, they had no choice but to work together. Damn it, humans are getting more and more arrogant. Their hands are getting longer and longer and they pretty much occupy the entire world. They forced us into a corner and we don't have much space to live. We have to solve this problem, or else we will all die. Do you understand? One of the evil god minions shouted. The human-faced rat, terror hunter, and summerbug were captured and burned to death by the furnace wizards. Now, the Secrotor star monster was also captured and burned to death as a sacrifice to the furnace lord. If we don't kill those furnace wizards, we won't be able to survive. Another evil god's follower gritted his teeth. To be honest, 10,000 years ago, they didn't expect such a thing to happen. They were just humans, weak creatures that weren't even worth mentioning. They were food for them to eat. But in the blink of an eye, in just 10,000 years, they actually grew to a level where all evil creatures were wary of them. They were actually forced into a corner. Honestly, if someone told them such a thing 10,000 years ago, they would definitely treat it as a joke. But such a joke had turned into reality and they couldn't laugh at all. Now, they weren't the ones who treated humans as food. Instead, humans treated them as food and fuel, capturing and killing evil creatures. Who knew how many evil creatures died in the hands of humans? After being captured, they were tied to pillars and burned alive to be sacrificed to the furnace master. Chapter 2895. Moreover, it isn't just our world, the same thing is happening in other worlds. One could say that all humans in the evil god universe have risen up. Those furnace wizards are born in a frenzy and we are at a dead end. Even if we leave this world, the other worlds will be the same. An evil god said solemnly and said the cruel truth. Their world wasn't an exception and they weren't unique either. In truth, the furnace wizards had spread to every world and numerous humans had become furnace wizards. The evil beings of other worlds were also being killed and had nowhere to go. The only thing we can do now is to awaken the gods. Not only do we have to awaken the lower gods, but we have to awaken the middle gods, higher gods, and even the ruler-level gods. Only then can we deal with the furnace master and the furnace wizards. An evil god clenched his fists and said his plan. In truth, so many of them gathered for this plan. Then, which evil god are you planning to awaken? An evil god asked. It's okay if we don't, but once we do, we have to awaken the strongest evil god. So, we are planning to awaken the stupid Azathos, the god of darkness. An evil god said solemnly. What? God of darkness? Many of the evil god's pupils constricted. This god of darkness was one of the strongest ruler-level evil gods in the evil god universe. It was said that he grasped the endless darkness laws and had the ability to swallow everything. When he opened his eyes, numerous worlds would fall into darkness and shatter. Even the evil god's subordinates couldn't handle his vast power. So, the gods sealed him and forced him to sleep. Otherwise, the weak universe wouldn't be able to handle his destruction. Now, they actually wanted to awaken this god of darkness. Were they trying to destroy the world? Are you crazy? You actually want to awaken that existence. Even if you want to die, you don't want to bring us along? An evil god's subordinate scolded. He felt that his partner had gone mad. Although those furnace wizards were problematic, at most, they just compressed their living space and didn't want to destroy the world. But this god of darkness was different. He was obviously trying to destroy the world. Once awakened, not only would humans die, but so would all the evil beings. Don't worry, of course, we won't be so stupid as to awaken that existence and let everyone die together. We still want to live. In truth, there is a reason for this. The evil god's subordinate said solemnly. What reason? The other evil creatures asked. It's simple. Awakening other dominator-rank evil gods requires too many sacrifices. The price isn't something we can afford. However, awakening the dark god is much simpler. The evil god said, in fact, we don't need to awaken it completely. As long as we awaken a bit of its power, the other evil gods will immediately wake up. After all, those evil gods who sealed the dark god definitely don't want to see the dark god wake up. They want to live too. So that's how it is. I understand your plan. You're planning to use the opportunity of awakening the god of darkness to awaken the other evil gods that are in deep sleep. That way, you'll achieve the effect of using little effort to achieve the same effect as Duogumino. Smart, really smart. We don't need to completely awaken this god of darkness. We just need to leak a bit of his aura and it will be enough to alert those sleeping evil gods. Who knows how much effort and tribute we can save? Many evil god minions were enlightened and instantly understood their partner's true plan. It seems like you all understand my plan. Do you think it's feasible? The evil god's minion smiled. Of course it's feasible. I agree with this plan. But even if we awaken a bit of god of darkness aura, the price isn't something our world can bear. Don't worry about that. We're not the only ones who came up with this grand plan. The evil god's minions from billions of worlds are also participating in this plan. They all feel that the situation can't continue like this, which is why they're bleeding a lot this time, bringing out large amounts of sacrificial items. So, many worlds are working together. No wonder you can come up with such a shocking plan. It is really an honor to be able to participate in such an operation. It seems like the luck of those furnace wizards has come to an end. Kiki, they are just mortals. How can they compare to the noble evil god? The evil god's minion discussed excitedly. At that moment, Xia Ping was in seclusion somewhere in the evil god universe. He didn't know about the shocking plan that the evil god's minion was planning. At that moment, he was in a crucial cultivation state. A huge amount of source energy surged out from Xia Ping's body. This was the energy that numerous furnace wizards in the evil god universe sacrificed. Even a single furnace wizard could only sacrifice a small amount of source energy. However, many a little makes a mickle. Over the years, this kind of origin energy would be extremely vast and boundless. At this moment, Xia Ping's body trembled as a certain bottleneck within his body was broken through. Both his spiritual sense and magic power within his body experienced a huge improvement. The surface area of the 9 great worlds on his body had been further expanded, and the internal space of every cell had also expanded, allowing them to contain even more magic power. Middle demigod realm. After such a long period of cultivation, even if Xia Ping spent most of his time spreading the furnace seeds and didn't cultivate hard to condense his powers, his cultivation still improved by leaps and bounds. However, thanks to the huge amount of energy, his cultivation had improved by leaps and bounds, and he had advanced to the middle stage demigod realm. He felt that his powers and soul power had improved by a huge amount. His combat strength was much stronger too. I finally broke through. Xia Ping opened his eyes and they lit up. He felt that his soul power was so strong that it was terrifying. His consciousness range had expanded to 2 billion light-years. At the same time, his illusion abilities had improved too. He could create 200,000 illusion worlds in an instant. When these worlds were stacked together, they would produce unbelievable power. However, the biggest benefit of this cultivation wasn't cultivation but the Hell Golden Crow bloodline in his body. With the help of the huge source energy, the Hell Golden Crow cells in his body were awakening crazily. Previously, he had awakened 30 trillion Hell Golden Crow cells. Now, he had awakened 60 trillion. This meant that he had awakened 60% of the Hell Golden Crow bloodline. With 40 trillion Hell Golden Crow cells left, he would be able to inherit the Hell Golden Crow bloodline. He would be able to control all of the Hell Golden Crow's power and bloodline abilities. He felt that the bloodline in his body had reached a shocking level. At the same time, the power of the flames in each furnace wizard's body had increased too. Chapter 2896. As expected, my plan to create furnace wizards has succeeded. Xia Ping opened his eyes, feeling very excited. He sensed that in the depths of his sea of consciousness, there were countless karmic lines. These were the lines of his infernal Golden Crow dependence. Through these karmic lines, he could constantly devour the huge amount of origin energy offered by the furnace wizards. Of course, such a huge amount of origin energy could not be completely devoured. He condensed the origin energy into energy stars and stored them for future breakthroughs. It could be said that he had spent tens of thousands of years spreading the furnace seeds, making all the humans in the Fiend God Universe furnace wizards. This had already laid a solid foundation for his plan. Even if the Fiend Gods woke up, they could not shake this foundation. Even if the Fiend Gods killed all the furnace wizards, their souls would return to the Book of Karma. They would not be devoured by the Fiend Gods at all. Instead, this would greatly damage the Fiend God Universe's origin energy, speeding up the universe's collapse. More importantly, after the furnace wizards died, they would turn into a sea of fire that would burn the entire world. It was as if they had sacrificed the entire world. At that time, not only would the furnace wizards die, but even the evil creatures and Fiend God's dependents would be buried with them. There would be no place for them to live. Therefore, the life and death of the furnace wizards had long been tied to the fate of this universe. If they lost all living beings and the entire world, then the entire Fiend God universe would collapse, resulting in the twilight of the gods. The Fiend Gods would immediately fall. If the Fiend Gods were smart, they would not kill the furnace wizards to vent their anger. Also, the divine sparks of these lesser gods have successfully replicated their authority and great Tao laws. Xia Ping smiled slightly. In these 10,000 years, he had obtained a total of 66 lesser god divine sparks. Each lesser god divine sparks contained several great Tao laws and grasped authority. He used feathered serpent god's authority to replicate all the lesser god divine sparks. Even if these divine sparks were not very useful, no one would complain about having too many divine sparks. At the same time, he successfully replicated these great Tao laws. Although some of the great Tao laws were duplicated, even so, with so many lesser god divine sparks, he still comprehended over 100 great Tao laws. The Quetzalcoatl's abilities had also been further enhanced. Of course, it didn't mean that one could directly become a high god after comprehending over 100 great Tao laws. If one wanted to condense a powerful godhood and condense authority, the power between the great Tao laws and the great Tao laws had to be fused. It had to be described with attributes. Only then could unimaginable divine power be born. If the attributes couldn't be fused, then it would only be a disorderly grand Tao law. It would be utterly impossible to fuse with each other, and naturally, it would be impossible to condense a powerful godhead. It was just like the knowledge of language and chemistry. Although they were both knowledge, they were obviously different subjects. How could they be compatible with each other? For example, there were countless types of elements in the world. When different elements were combined together, different substances would be born. Just like steel, it was actually an alloy of iron and C, carbon, C, silicon, Im, manganese, P, phosphorus, S, and a small number of other elements. Petroleum is a flammable oily liquid composed of hydrocarbons. Natural gas is composed of various gases mainly composed of gaseous hydrocarbons. The combination of different elements would give rise to countless substances in the world. It was the same principle. If one wanted to comprehend the godhood of death, one had to comprehend the great Tao related to the great Tao law of death, such as massacre, destruction, darkness, curse, and so on. It was impossible to comprehend the great Tao laws of light, healing, salvation, and so on. If one wanted to comprehend the true demon god's authority, one had to comprehend the great Tao of illusion, great Tao of lie, great Tao of reality, great Tao of karma, great Tao of life, great Tao of death, and so on. Although there were 3,000 great Tao laws in the world, when different great Tao laws were arranged and combined, they would give rise to trillions of godhood powers. At that instant, Xia Ping's heart skipped a beat. It was as if he had a sudden impulse. Vaguely, many space-time scenes appeared in the depths of his consciousness. He felt that he had been surrounded by many evil gods. There were even sovereign-level evil gods that had personally attacked and killed him, but he had nowhere to run. Some powerful sovereign-level evil gods had personally attacked and destroyed his soul and body. Bang! In the next second, Xia Ping broke free from the illusion, and his eyes regained clarity. This is a scene from the future? Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He knew that this was definitely the passive effect of his bloodline divine ability, future foresight. The so-called passive effect was that if he foresaw that there would be a fatal crisis in the future, he would have a strong premonition and have a sudden impulse that would give him a warning. The active effect was that he would proactively foresee the future and see what would happen in the next few days. A fatal crisis? Xia Ping couldn't help but clench his fists. In the future scenes, countless evil gods had awakened. Although those evil gods couldn't find him at the start, as the sovereign-level evil gods awakened, they knew every corner of the evil god universe and easily found him. Even a treasure like the formless mask couldn't hide from their search. After all, these evil gods had lived for so many years, and they had endless treasures on them. They definitely had treasures that weren't inferior to the formless mask, so he couldn't underestimate these gods. After such a long time, these evil gods still awakened. However, it's too late now. The situation is set, and all that's left is to wait for time to slowly bloom the fragrance of roses. Xia Ping smiled faintly without a hint of fear. This was because he had already thought of a way out. He could just leave the evil god universe. No matter how powerful these evil gods were, they couldn't cross the universe to kill him. Moreover, once these evil gods entered the hell world, they would be greatly suppressed. When that time came, it was uncertain who would kill who. He had also stayed in the evil god universe for more than 10,000 years and obtained countless benefits. There was no need for him to stay in this place for the time being. In the future, when he became stronger and even became a god, he would return to the evil god universe. When that time came, he would definitely sacrifice all these evil gods and use them as fuel for his advancement. Sush. Thinking of this, Xia Ping didn't hesitate. His figure flashed and he left for the space-time tunnel that the evil gods had opened. The reason why he didn't leave with the space-time tunnel that Tan Minglu and the others had opened was because his tracks might be discovered by the evil gods of this universe. This space-time tunnel was extremely important. It could be considered a backdoor. For the time being, he couldn't let other evil gods discover it. It was his backup plan and the key to entering the evil god universe next time. Therefore, he would try his best to avoid any risk of exposing this space-time tunnel. Chapter 2897. Hong Long Long. Just as Xia Ping left the evil god universe, the plan of the evil god dependents succeeded. As they wanted to unseal the dark god, they leaked out a bit of his aura and woke up many of the sleeping evil gods. Even though they were in a state of recovery, this was a matter of life and death. They had no choice but to interrupt their slumber and wake up from their slumber. Even some ruler-level evil gods woke up. Wave after wave of strong evil god power shook the entire evil god universe. It was as though all the great Tao laws had come to life, forming countless great Tao laws chains that sealed the entire evil god universe. Fortunately, Xia Ping had escaped in time. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so easy for him to leave the evil god universe. Who is it? Who is so daring to actually awaken the dark god? One by one, the evil gods woke up in a rage. Their powerful spiritual force surged through the entire evil god universe, forming a terrifying mental storm. The evil god dependents who were holding the ceremony couldn't withstand such a mental attack. In an instant, they turned into idiots. Their bodies were corroded by the evil god's power. They twisted and shattered, turning into countless pieces of flesh and blood. Respected gods, you have finally awakened. We didn't want to awaken the dark god but to awaken all of you. The evil god dependents who participated in the ceremony knelt on the ground and cried. Sensing that the evil gods had awakened, they weren't afraid at all. Instead, they were overjoyed. Because after paying such a huge price and putting in so much effort, they had finally succeeded. In the depths of the dark void, many distorted evil god shadows appeared. They couldn't be described, looked at directly, and couldn't be named. They twisted the chaotic void and emitted an aura and power that could corrode everything. These evil gods sensed that the altar was filled with their believers who were loyal to them. Therefore, they calmed down instantly and suppressed their strength to the greatest extent. They didn't want to leak out a bit of their aura and cause the death of all their believers. What is going on? One of the evil gods asked. As gods, they naturally weren't fools. Although they had just awakened and were a little muddle-headed, they could indeed sense that the entire universe was filled with an inauspicious aura. It was different from before. This made their hearts palpitate, as if a great disaster was about to befall them. It's like this. More than 10,000 years ago, a god suddenly appeared. He called himself the Furnace Master and gave countless humans the power to kill evil creatures, allowing humans to control great power. Since then, the entire universe has undergone a huge change. In the countless worlds, we, the evil god's minions, lost a lot of territory and a lot of living space. That's right. Those humans who have obtained power call themselves the Furnace Wizards. They have mastered the unimaginable power of fire. They can sacrifice us evil creatures and burn our evil god's minions, using us as food. Who knows how many of our companions, brothers and sisters have been burned to death by these Furnace Wizards. Lord God, please save us. We don't have any other way. Many of the evil god's minions immediately spoke of the predicament they had been in over the years. It was not that they had awakened the evil god on purpose, but the situation had reached the most critical juncture, and they had no choice but to do so. All of them were weeping bitterly. Truthfully, even if they were beaten to death, they wouldn't have expected that they would be forced to such a state by the weak humans. This made them really frustrated and ashamed. After hearing these words, the awakened evil gods sensed something. They were shocked and didn't expect that in such a short time, the entire universe would undergo such a huge change. They were just taking a nap, so how did such a thing happen? That's right. It's just as the kin said. The humans of countless worlds have all become Furnace Wizards. Their bodies contain an inconceivable power of fire, and they can even vaguely threaten the evil gods. A ruler-level evil god said. In that instant, its divine will had spread throughout the entire evil god universe and penetrated through every void. It had sensed the auras of countless human beings and knew everything like the back of its hand. What? Those weak humans actually grasped such strong power? The flames in their bodies can actually threaten the evil gods? How is that possible? Since Lord Nyarlathotep said it, then it is true. Nothing is impossible. All the evil gods discussed. The ruler-level evil god who spoke was called Nyarlathotep. He was often called the messenger and was a symbol of mockery and conflict. He had strong evil god power. Furnace Master? What kind of evil god is Furnace Master? Why would he give humans such strength? Why haven't I heard of such a name before? An evil god asked. He wanted to know the identity of Furnace Master. It was obvious that the source of everything was this mysterious evil god. Furnace Master. I've never heard of such a god's name before. Is he a newly born god? Impossible, such a huge plan can't be a new god. If he isn't a new god, then he is an ancient god born in the uncivilized era, an ancient existence buried deep in history. Only such an existence can have such unbelievable power. Many of the evil gods discussed. They were discussing the background of the Furnace Master, but no matter how they discussed, they had never heard of any evil god having such strength. There is no need to discuss. Furnace Master isn't an evil god. At that moment, another Dominator rank evil god spoke. He was dressed in white and his body shone with a holy light. He held a black book in his hands and his aura was different from the other evil gods. If he wasn't among the evil gods, one would think that he was another god and not an evil god. However, its pair of deep and terrifying black eyes betrayed its identity as an evil god. When they heard this, all the evil gods became solemn. That was because the ruler-level evil god who spoke was called Fate Evil God. He was said to have grasped the power of fate and could control the fates of all living beings. The dark book in his hands was called the Book of Fate. It was a chief god artifact and it recorded the fates of all living beings in the evil god universe. Although he was Fate Evil God, he was an extremely evil existence. What he loved to do was destroy fate. For example, he would personally cripple a genius that was bound to rise. He would personally cripple his talent and make him a beggar. He would only be able to beg on the streets for his entire life. Then he would enjoy the despair and pain of that genius life. For a certain child of destiny who had a series of fortuitous encounters, it would snatch all of the other party's opportunities in advance, causing the other party to fade into obscurity or even become destitute and dejected. Then it would tell the other party of their original fate, enjoying the other party's anger, grievance, and hatred. He was such an evil god. He loved to see the expressions of despair of all living beings. He loved to destroy the predetermined fate and make all living beings fall into pain. One could say that he definitely wouldn't bring any benefits. When he appeared, he would bring despair to all living beings. Even the evil gods were the same. Chapter 2898. But no matter how evil Fate Evil God was, how disgusting, how annoying, how many evil gods couldn't deny how strong he was. When they killed Feathered Serpent God, that trap was set up by Fate Evil God. If Fate Evil God didn't act and blinded Feathered Serpent God's perception of fate, Feathered Serpent God wouldn't have fallen for that trap. So one could imagine how terrifying Fate Evil God was. Even among the ruler-level evil gods, he was a special existence. Therefore, the words of the evil god of fate carried a lot of weight. Not an evil god? What does that mean? An evil god asked. It means exactly what it means. He isn't even a life form from our evil god universe. He broke free from the Book of Fate's tracking and blinded fate's perception. He jumped out of the restraints of fate and is a variable of fate. Fate Evil God's eyes lit up and he seemed really excited. Not a life form from our evil god universe? Is he a god from another universe? How dare you invade our evil god cosmos? Hearing this, many evil gods flew into a rage. They were practically going crazy. It had always been them invading other universes. When had there ever been gods from other universes invading their own universe? This was really the first time. All of them were angry from embarrassment. No, he isn't a god either. He's just a half-god, but he used some special methods to deceive the universe's source laws so that he can live freely in the evil god universe. Fate Evil God clenched his fists. He was getting more and more interested in this Furnace Master because someone like him who could jump out of the restraints of fate was really special. If he could steal his power, he would definitely be able to improve and reach the unprecedented god realm. Impossible. What method can deceive the universe's source laws? Moreover, he's just a half-god. What kind of half-god has such terrifying methods? The bunch of evil gods couldn't believe it. Even if Fate Evil God was a ruler-level god, his words were too unbelievable. Even a ruler-level god couldn't break free from the universe's source laws, let alone a half-god. This is the explanation and conjecture given by the Book of Fate. Whether it's true or not, we just have to capture that furnace master. Evil god Fate cackled. It looked at the evil god next to it. It was the key of the gate, Yog-Sothoth. He knew everything about time and space and was the key to the Silver Gate. At the same time, he was the strongest god in tracking enemies. No god could escape his pursuit. Any existence that left a trace in time and space would be tracked down by Yog-Sothoth. There was no way to escape. There's no way to track it. The Furnace Master has already left the evil god universe. Yog-Sothoth squinted his eyes. He seemed to have seen through the mysteries of space and time. He tried to track the Furnace Lord's presence from the river of time and space, but the trace was cut off. Because the chaotic airflow had shattered all traces of space-time, even with its ability, it could not track other existences across the vast chaotic space-time. Left? How did you leave? When did you leave? The evil god of fate was stunned because this was out of his expectations. Right before we woke up, it left through the space-time tunnel we opened. That Furnace Lord might be a creature from the Hell World. Yog-Sothoth stated his conjecture. He found that the Furnace Lord left through the space-time tunnel leading to the Hell World. The trace was cut off at that moment. The Hell World? Could it be that the Hell World gave birth to an unimaginable being? It's not impossible. It's said that the infernal world itself is an extremely powerful universe. In the previous universe epic, the infernal world had lived 9 lives, which is practically unprecedented since ancient times. It gave birth to a large number of demonic gods. If it wasn't for the war between the Hell World and another universe of the same level, where countless demonic lords fought, the Hell World might not have been destroyed. It might even have lived 10 lives. But there are no ifs. In the end, the Hell World was destroyed and all the demonic lords died. Even so, there are still countless demonic lord ruins left in the Hell World. There are still large amounts of demonic lord treasures left from the last universe era. That's right. Even after such a long time, we still don't understand most of the mysteries of the Hell World. It's a pity that us evil gods are greatly suppressed when we enter the Hell World. Otherwise, we would have entered directly instead of relying on the void monsters we created to slowly plunder. It really is a super universe. I didn't expect that after being plundered for so long, it would still give birth to such a terrifying being. It even counter-invaded, bringing huge problems to our evil god universe. Many evil gods squinted their eyes. They didn't know much about the history of the Hell World. After all, it was something that happened in the last universe era. The reason they knew a little was because the history of the Hell World was too glorious. Even other universes had stories about the Hell World. Therefore, when they found the infernal world, they were overjoyed. This was simply an eternal opportunity. However, at the same time, they were afraid that there were still some ancient beings left in this universe. So they didn't dare to make a big fuss. They carefully plundered to avoid provoking any forbidden beings. If it is a half-god from the Hell World, then it is problematic. We can't head there to find him. Our strength can't be used there and we will be suppressed. An evil god said solemnly, "Let's not talk about that. Let's deal with these furnace wizards. We can't let this furnace lord bring such huge problems to our evil god universe and destroy the order that we have maintained for so many years. This is our evil god universe and humans are just food. We can't rise up." An evil god was filled with killing intent. Can we clear out the power within these furnace wizards and make them turn into evil god dependents or evil beings? An evil god said solemnly, "No, that won't work." Fate evil god shook his head. Furnace Lord's power has merged with humans. Their bodies and souls have been changed and they have become dependents of the Furnace Lord. Moreover, this power seems to be a huge counter to our evil god power. It can use our power as fuel and swallow our power to get stronger and stronger. Chapter 2899. Using our evil god's power as fuel? What a joke! How can there be such an evil power in the world, such an evil being? Many of the evil gods' expressions changed. Truthfully, their evil gods had a huge advantage in the past. No matter which universe they went to, they were able to easily corrupt other living beings and cause them to fall. Now, there were actually living beings that used their evil gods as food, using their power as fuel. They could even swallow their power to become strong. Wasn't this the natural bane of evil gods? To evil gods, this was the most evil being in the world and they couldn't let it live. Kill these furnace wizards, kill them all. We can't let them continue to exist. An evil god hollered in rage. Impossible, pretty much all humans have become furnace wizards. If we kill them all, that would be the same as killing all humans. An evil god shook his head. So what? As long as there are some humans left, after a long time, they can give birth to more humans. They are still healthy food. Furnace wizards are just food that has gone bad and shouldn't exist. Some evil gods were filled with killing intent. To evil gods, if there was a need, they wouldn't care even if they killed all humans. As long as some humans survived and could reproduce, that was enough. Anyway, they had a long lifespan and as time went on, after billions of eras, these humans would reproduce in this universe and continue to increase in numbers. So, killing most of them wasn't much. Instead, it was a good choice. Wiping out the world was the best way to clear out the furnace wizards. Okay, I will wipe out the humans in a few worlds. They are just food and they actually dare to occupy our evil god world. They are just asking to die. An evil god laughed coldly. Wait. Fate evil god wanted to stop him. But it was already too late. The violent evil god immediately attacked. It arrived in a large world and looked down from above. Its expression was cold as it attacked right away. Hong Long Long, in an instant, an extremely powerful divine power swept through the entire great world. Suddenly, all the humans in this world could not even say a word before they were all shocked to death. In fact, these humans didn't even feel any pain, because they died too quickly. Ha, foolish humans. So what if you've obtained power? You actually became a snitch for the sake of power, willing to be a hired thug for other cosmic lifeforms. You're simply courting death. The evil god laughed coldly, but in the next second, his expression changed and his hair stood on end. This was because when these humans died, the furnace seeds in their bodies immediately exploded. Each furnace seed was like a small sun, containing powerful star energy. The more powerful a human was, the more energy they had. All the humans in this world died. The furnace seeds in their bodies all exploded. It was like countless small suns exploding at the same time. It was easy to imagine exactly how terrifying the destructive power would be. Rumble, in an instant, the entire world was covered by countless rays of dark golden light, as if it had been pierced through by the endless light. At the same time, extremely terrifying infernal golden crow flames erupted, engulfing the entire world. That evil god didn't expect this at all and couldn't react in time. His body was engulfed by the infernal golden crow flames and swallowed. Save me, save me, save me. That evil god let out a tragic cry. It was even more tragic than a pig being slaughtered. His body was covered in infernal golden crow flames and every inch of his flesh and blood started to burn. That was because the strength of the infernal golden crow flames was too terrifying. Even if it was a divinity formed from law crystals, it started to melt under the power of the flames. All of a sudden, this evil god was filled with the fear of death and he kept begging for help. Don't save him, he's beyond saving. Evil god Fate said calmly. Beyond saving? All the evil god's hairs stood on end as they looked at the evil god covered in flames in fear. Fortunately, they weren't so rash, otherwise, they would have ended up like that evil god. In just a few breaths, this evil god was burned to death and even his divinity melted. Boundless dark golden flames spread throughout the world. All the evil creatures were burned to ashes at that moment. The entire world was set ablaze. At this moment, the world seemed to have been forcibly transformed into a huge dark golden sun. It was burning fiercely as if it was an eternal sun in the void of the universe. What's going on? The evil gods' mouths were agape and they didn't know what had happened. I told you to wait, so just wait. Why were you so impatient? Even if you want to die, you shouldn't do it like this. Evil god Fate cackled and revealed a gloating smile. Even if they were from the same universe, it didn't mean they were friends. In fact, evil gods were all cold-hearted, and even if all the evil gods around them died, they wouldn't shed a single tear. The reason why they were so worried was because they were afraid that they would follow in the same footsteps. Evil god Fate, why did this happen? Gate Kiyogsathith asked. It's very simple. These furnace wizards are actually little human-shaped suns. They contain a terrifying furnace energy. If they're still alive, it'll be fine. But once they die, they'll immediately activate the furnace seed's energy inside them. In an instant, they'll explode with a powerful immortal flame. Any creature that gets close to them will be burned alive. The eyes of the evil god of Fate shone with a cold glint. Just now, that guy killed all the humans in an instant. Countless furnace seeds erupted with terrifying destructive power and flame power. Such power is enough to easily burn a lesser god to death. Of course, that's not the most important thing. If they're careful, even a lower god can avoid it. It's just that that guy didn't pay attention and died. Hearing this, many of the evil gods heaved a sigh of relief. If they killed all the humans, they would die with them. Then they wouldn't dare to touch the humans anymore. But don't think that's good. Instead, it's worse. Evil god Fate's face was very ugly. When these humans die, the fire in their bodies won't go out. It's still burning the entire world and turning it into an eternal sun. Every living being in this world will die with the humans. In other words, killing these humans is the same as destroying the world. Chapter 2900. What? Hearing this, all the evil gods' expressions changed. Destroying humans was equivalent to destroying the entire world. If it was in the past, destroying a world wouldn't be a big deal. At most, they would just build another world. But now that the evil god universe was on the brink of destruction, they couldn't afford any losses. If they lost thousands of worlds, it would cause a chain reaction that would speed up the collapse of the evil god universe. By then, all of them would die. What an evil furnace master! I finally understand this bastard scheme. He doesn't just want to destroy our believers. He also wants to use the humans as hostages to force us not to attack humans. An evil god gritted his teeth. If we kill a large number of humans, the entire world will collapse and the universe will collapse. Then we will be dead. That bastard wants to kill us. He immediately understood the severity of the matter. Not only could they not kill these humans, but they had to protect them. Otherwise, if too many humans died, the entire world would be covered in furnace flames and the entire world would be burned to ashes. Many evil gods were extremely frustrated. Since when did evil gods become babysitters? These humans were just food and they had to protect their lives. What kind of joke was this? Thinking about this, they were infuriated. Wait, where are the souls? Where did the human souls go? Just at this moment, an evil god couldn't help but shout. He realized that he couldn't sense the souls of the dead humans. It was as if they had disappeared without a trace. In the past, after these humans died, they would leave behind a large number of souls which were devoured by evil gods. These were the best food or snacks for evil gods. But now they were all gone. Not even a single soul was left. They were all captured by the furnace master. Evil god Fate's expression was extremely ugly. This was the first time he had been tricked by someone. It was completely out of his expectations and he was really unhappy. Impossible! Didn't the furnace master leave the evil god universe long ago? How can he capture these souls? An evil god shouted. That's because the souls of these humans seem to have signed a contract with one of the furnace lord's divine weapons. These humans, in order to obtain power, in order to become furnace mages, have already offered their souls. After they die, the furnace lord will take them away. The evil god of Fate said in a low voice. It indicated that becoming a furnace wizard did not come without a price. Instead, it had signed a contract with the furnace master. Once they died, their souls would belong to the furnace master. Stop him! Stop that furnace master immediately! He's just a god from another universe, yet he wants to harvest the souls of our universe's life forms. What kind of joke is this? He's cutting our flesh." Many evil gods hollered in rage. They were shocked and furious. Although humans were very weak, they were still life forms born from the heretic god universe. Their souls contained a large amount of the universe's source. Once they left this universe and headed to another universe, it was equivalent to the loss of the universe's energy. This was akin to the evil god universe's source energy being plundered by other universes. Without a doubt, this was a serious crime. This was a declaration of war against the evil god universe and a provocation against the evil gods. I can't stop it. A master god artifact that signed such a soul contract is even stronger than my book of fate. I can't stop it at all. Evil god of fate clenched its fists and its expression was extremely ugly. As the evil god of fate of the evil god universe, it prided itself on controlling the fates of all living beings. Everyone's fate was controlled by it and played with as it pleased. But now, someone's fate had exceeded its imagination and was even playing with its own fate. What kind of joke was this? When had it ever suffered such a loss? I can't stop it? The many evil gods gritted their teeth. They understood the seriousness of the matter. They couldn't kill those humans at all. Once they did, the world would be destroyed and the evil god universe would collapse early. All of them would die and be destroyed along with the universe. Maybe the furnace master wanted them to lose their minds and kill those humans so that they could reap the benefits. Moreover, from the looks of it, even if they killed those humans, they wouldn't be able to devour their souls. That was because the souls of humans had signed a contract with the furnace master and belonged to him. Without human souls as food, their injuries wouldn't be able to heal. Only by killing other evil beings and devouring their souls would they be able to do that. This was equivalent to heavily injuring one of their arms. But if they didn't kill those humans, the furnace wizards would cause a huge problem. That was because the furnace wizards kept sacrificing evil beings and hunting evil god minions. Sacrificing would also cause their strength to weaken. It would also increase the exhaustion of the evil god universe's source. So, they were in a dilemma. No matter if they killed the humans or not, they wouldn't be able to avoid the fate of destruction. What a vicious furnace master! In just a short 10,000 years, he actually laid out a death trap for us to enter. He wants to kill all of us evil gods. This bastard is much more threatening than Feathered Serpent God. The expressions of the evil gods were extremely ugly. Feathered Serpent God was strong and caused the evil god universe to be heavily damaged. It even caused many ruler-level evil gods to fall and large amounts of low, intermediate, and high gods to be heavily injured. But at least it didn't cause the evil god universe to be in a death trap. However, the Furnace Lord was different. Although he didn't personally take action, he was more than 1,000,000,000,000 times more sinister than the Feathered Serpent God. That bastard was planning to dig up their roots and use the evil god universe's people to deal with the evil god universe. So what if he killed all those humans? The evil god universe's strength would be lost. No matter what, that damn furnace master didn't suffer any losses. Instead, he gained huge benefits and was in an invincible position. Capture him. We must capture that furnace master. We can't let that bastard get carried away. We can't let his plan succeed. If not, all of us will die. An evil god hollered in rage. No matter how strong the other evil gods were, they all sensed the danger of death. If this continued, the evil god universe wouldn't be able to live a second life. When the time came, all of them would die. All the evil gods would fall. You make it sound better than singing. That bastard has long run back to Hell World. How can we kill him? Another evil god gritted his teeth and said. Chapter 2901. The evil gods were silent. It was as that evil god had said. They might look strong in the evil god universe, but if they headed to Hell World, they would be suppressed by Hell World source. Even if they were ruler-level evil gods, once they entered Hell World, their strength would fall to half-god level. If they were half-god level beings, then entering Hell World wouldn't be seeking revenge but asking for death. Instead, they would be killed by the Furnace Lord. What about the void monsters we created? There are so many of them and they can't be killed. Can we get them to kill the Furnace Lord? An evil god asked. Stop dreaming. I just received news that our army in Hell World suffered heavy losses. Half of the void monsters were burned to death and now they are hiding and don't dare to leave the base. An evil god clenched his fist. I wasn't sure who did this before, but now it seems like it must be the work of the Furnace Master. Only the Furnace Master has the power to burn the void monsters to death. It immediately understood a lot of truths. What? The evil gods were frustrated. If the void monsters couldn't kill the Furnace Lord, then even if they personally attacked, they wouldn't be able to kill the Furnace Lord. Due to the suppression of Hell's source, even if they entered Hell World, they wouldn't be able to use much strength. They weren't much weaker than the void monsters. So, based on the current situation, they couldn't do anything to the Furnace Lord. Even if we can't kill him, we have to. To solve this, we have to kill the Furnace Lord. The evil god of fate roared, "Only by getting rid of the Furnace Lord will the Furnace Wizards lose all their power. Only then will they no longer be a threat to our universe, and only then will they not speed up the destruction of the universe." He had thought it through. Even if he killed all the Furnace Wizards, he wouldn't be able to solve this problem. Instead, he would kill 800 and kill 1,000. No, he would kill all his own people while the enemy would be unharmed. Instead, he might even gain huge benefits. So, the only way to solve this was to kill the Furnace Lord. Only then could he save the evil god universe. The other evil gods weren't fools and naturally knew this. Of course we know that, but we have no way to kill the Furnace Lord right now. The infernal world is the territory of the demons. We are helpless. One of the evil gods spread his hands and said helplessly. Even if they possessed power that far surpassed the Furnace Lord, it was useless if they couldn't unleash it. No, it's not like there's no way. At that moment, Yog-Sothoth, the key of the door, spoke. What is it? Many evil gods looked over. It's simple. Speed up the evolution of the origin of hell so that they can give birth to new demon gods as soon as possible. Yog-Sothoth, the key of the gate, said in a deep voice as he explained his plan. Are you kidding me? Speeding up the evolution of the infernal realm? Isn't that the same as helping the enemy become stronger? And let them give birth to a new fiend celestial? Are you saying that our enemies aren't strong enough? Some evil gods thought that Yog-Sothoth, the key of the gate, had gone mad. No, I understand what Yog-Sothoth is trying to say. The eyes of the evil god of fate shone brightly. Although speeding up the evolution of the infernal realm will cause countless demons to evolve, and even some demigod demons will ascend to the divine realm, becoming lesser gods, intermediate gods, and even greater gods, but by the same logic, the suppression of the infernal realm on us evil gods will be weakened to the point that we can enter the infernal realm. I see. Hearing this, the eyes of the evil gods lit up and they were enlightened. In truth, the suppression of the universe's origin on outsiders wasn't constant. As the universe's origin got stronger, the restrictions on outsiders would loosen. Just like a developing country in China, if it became a developed country, then the restrictions on outsiders would loosen. They wouldn't need outsiders to pose any threat to their country. Same logic. After the universe's origin evolved, the natives of the universe would become stronger. Then, the restrictions on outsiders would loosen as well. Before, only demigods could enter, but after the evolution, low, middle, and even high gods would be able to enter. Evil gods like them could take the chance to enter the infernal realm. Originally, according to the universe's development, as time goes on, the universe's origin will become stronger. Then, the natives will also become stronger and more gods will be born. Evil god of fate laughed coldly. But now, we are trying to speed up the evolution of the infernal realm's origin and let it evolve to the point where a fiend celestial can advance. But due to the lack of time, even with such a good environment, they won't be able to give birth to many fiend celestials. They won't be able to match the number of evil gods in our universe. This way, due to the lack of time, the infernal realm will only give birth to a few fiend celestials. But we can send hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of fiend celestials to beat up the Furnace Master. It would be strange if he didn't die. Then we can take over the entire infernal realm. He clenched his fists, killing intent surging. He could almost see the Furnace Master's head being cut off. Not bad, this plan isn't bad. Many evil gods couldn't help but nod and agree with this plan. The problem is that there aren't many treasures that can speed up the evolution of the universe's origin. Each one is priceless. Even Dominator-level evil gods might not be willing to take it out. An evil god said solemnly, "Don't worry, since I suggested this plan, naturally, I have to bleed a little." Evil god of fate said calmly. Chapter 2902. Hellworld. At this time, Xia Ping had already silently returned to Hell World. Beep beep. At this moment, the system's voice sounded, "Congratulations, host. You have attracted the hatred of a large number of evil gods, evil god minions, and evil creatures. You have obtained a large amount of hatred. Currently, the host has a total of 200,000 hatred crystals. I hope you can continue to work hard." What? Hearing this, Xia Ping's eyes widened, revealing an unimaginable shock. He didn't expect that the number of hatred crystals he had reached 200,000. One had to know that his total hatred crystals were only 18,000, and he had even used some in the middle. But now, it had soared to 200,000 hatred crystals. It had increased by more than 100,000. He couldn't imagine how much hatred he had attracted this time. In fact, Xia Ping had underestimated what he had done in the evil god universe this time. He had become the furnace master and turned all humans into furnace wizards, allowing humans to have the power to burn evil creatures to death. It was easy to imagine that such a method was basically to exterminate all evil creatures, driving them down from the top of the food chain and making them unable to kill humans at will. To the evil gods, Xia Ping's method was to cut off their foundation. He was planning to kill them and destroy the entire evil god universe. He didn't know how much hatred there was. If Xia Ping hadn't run fast enough and returned to Hell World in time, he would have been caught and killed by the evil gods long ago. They wouldn't have given Xia Ping a chance to leave the evil god universe. So it was only natural that he had so many hatred crystals. By the way, I have 200,000 hatred crystals on me. Doesn't that mean I can get a big gift from the system? Xia Ping's heart skipped a beat as he remembered the big gift from the system. After reaching 100,000 hatred crystals, he would receive a gift from the system. Obviously, he had met the requirements of the system. Beep beep, the system's voice sounded again. "Congratulations, host, for reaching 200,000 hatred crystals. The system will give the host a big gift. Please check and receive it as soon as possible." Rumble. In the next second, the void split open and a millstone descended, emitting a world-destroying might. It seemed to have wiped out the endless origin laws of the universe and shattered all the karma lines. A terrifying chaotic airflow emanated from its body. It was simply capable of destroying all matter and contained terrifying power. The moment it appeared, all the laws of time and space within a radius of billions of light-years came to a standstill. Even energy could not flow at this moment and was completely frozen. Crash! At once, a tremendous amount of information surged out of the millstone and was instilled in Xia Ping's sea of consciousness. He immediately understood what it was. This was the divine weapon, the Six Paths Millstone. Without a doubt, this was one of the most important parts of the Six Paths reincarnation. It contained the power of the Six Paths, including the Azura Path, Human Path, Heaven Path, Hell Path, Hungry Ghost Path, Animal Path, etc. This divine weapon was incredibly powerful. With the Six Paths grindstone, it was able to destroy the endless source of laws. The power of the Six Paths permeated the air and turned everything into nothingness. Of course, the most important function of this divine artifact was not to fight, but to transform the flesh and blood of living beings, thereby giving birth to the Six Paths of life. One must know that the Reincarnation Brush, Book of Karma, and Six Paths Millstone were all part of a single godly weapon, and these godly weapons complemented each other. For example, the Reincarnation Brush was used to outline souls and change and determine the fate of all living beings. The Book of Karma was used to record the karma of all living beings in the world, allowing the souls of all living beings to merge into the Book of Karma. As long as the Book of Karma was not destroyed, these souls would not die. When these living beings died, their souls would return to the Book of Karma, and through the Book of Karma, the souls would enter the depths of the Six Paths millstone. Then, countless living beings would be born from the Six Paths millstone. And the Six Paths represented all the living beings in the universe. For example, born from the Asura path, there would be Asuras, ancient species, divine beasts, ancient beasts, and other special combat life forms. They were also incredibly strong, a race born for combat. Born from the human path, there would be humans. Born from the heaven path, there would be all kinds of living beings born from the heaven and earth. For example, the spirits of heaven and earth, gods, mythical creatures, law beasts, and so on. They were all born from the heaven path. Born from the hell path, there would be demons, monsters, and other hell races. Born from the wraith path, there would be heavenly demons, dark ghosts, evil spirits, and other terrifying creatures. Born from the animal path, there would be all kinds of animals, plants, monsters, and other non-human creatures. The creatures that were born from the Six Paths were basically all-encompassing and all-encompassing. I see. Xia Ping immediately understood. With the reincarnation pen, Book of Karma, and Six Paths millstone, it meant that he had control over the strongest divine weapon, the Six Paths reincarnation. This was the strongest divine weapon that the Lord of Hell had back then. With such a divine weapon, he would be able to conquer the world, besiege cities, and be invincible. The souls of all living beings recorded in the Book of Karma would return to the Book of Karma after they died. As long as Xia Ping willed it, these living beings would be immortal and could be resurrected from the Six Paths millstone at any time. In the past, the Hell world used this divine weapon, the Six Paths reincarnation, to conquer one powerful universe after another. As a result, they lived for a total of 9 lives, an unprecedented feat. However, resurrection didn't come without a price. It would consume a large amount of the universe's origin energy. The stronger the living being, the more energy it would consume to resurrect. But if the corpses of the experts were thrown into the Six Paths millstone, the energy consumption would be greatly reduced. For example, the Hell world killed many gods from other universes and threw their corpses into the Six Paths millstone. As a result, more and more powerful living beings were born. What's going on? Why are there so many souls returning to the Book of Karma? It was at this moment, Xia Ping's heart skipped a beat. He sensed billions of human souls appearing in the Book of Karma, as if these souls had crossed the universe and returned to the Book of Karma. He squinted his eyes and sensed the message from the Book of Karma. He immediately understood what was going on. The evil gods were venting their anger by killing the furnace sorcerers of a world. As a result, that world was destroyed and burned into a sun. Then, the souls of the furnace sorcerers returned to the Book of Karma. Fortunately, their souls had returned to the Book of Karma, otherwise, these human souls would have been devoured by the evil gods and lost the chance to reincarnate. Chapter 2903. They actually killed so many humans. Seems like the humans of the evil god universe will have a tough time in the future. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He knew that after the evil gods were awakened, humans would not have a comfortable life. But his situation in the evil god universe was already set. No matter how angry the evil gods were, they wouldn't dare to do anything to the humans. They wouldn't dare to annihilate all humans. Otherwise, these evil gods would just be digging their own graves. This was a good thing for him. Unfortunately, these evil gods wouldn't be that stupid. And it didn't matter even if all the humans died. Their souls would still return to the Book of Karma. This was equivalent to plundering the source energy of the evil god universe. To the Book of Karma, the more souls it obtained, the stronger it became. If those evil gods were really that stupid and killed all the humans, then the power of the Book of Karma would grow to an unprecedented level. At the same time, it would be able to plunder large amounts of the source energy of the evil god universe. These human souls will temporarily stay in the Book of Karma. Once hell stabilizes, I will let them reincarnate. Xia Ping clenched his fist. He could actually use the power of the Six Paths of Karma to revive these human souls. But there wasn't much meaning in doing so, because the war between hell and the evil god universe was imminent. In the future, there would definitely be a world-shaking war. Even if these humans were revived now, they might be affected by the war and die. So, it wouldn't be too late to send these souls to reincarnate after the situation stabilized. So, thinking of this, Xia Ping flashed and returned to Hell of Green Lotus. There seems to be quite a number of invincible demons. Xia Ping's heart thumped. He sensed that there were many invincible demons in Hell of Green Lotus. Originally, he had contracted over 1,000 invincible demons. But after such a long time, the number of invincible demons had increased drastically. Suddenly, there were 4,000 invincible demons. Their growth rate is so fast? Xia Ping didn't expect his subordinates to be so passionate. During the time he left Hell, these invincible demons went around looking for trouble with other demons and headed to other planes of Hell. Because of the Void Monster's retreat, the demons' movements in the Void of Hell were smooth and unimpeded. Of course, they weren't looking for trouble with the lords of high-level hells. Instead, they were looking for trouble with invincible demons who were fighting for supremacy. Relying on their advantage in numbers and the assistance of Hell's magic treasures, they were simply invincible. 2 or 3 against 1, and often these invincible demons were defeated, then forced into a contract. Moreover, after the contract was successful, these invincible demons would become his troops, and their numbers would continue to snowball like crazy. In the blink of an eye, the Hell of Green Lotus had subjugated hundreds of high-level hell planes, spanning hundreds of millions of light-years. After all, these invincible demons were overlords of a region, ruling over billions of demons under their banner. Subduing an invincible demon was equivalent to subduing a giant. It was easy to imagine how many fiend devils from the Hell of the Blue Lotus had grown. Basically, the Hell of the Green Lotus had become the absolute overlord of a radius of hundreds of millions of light-years. Its name had already started to spread, and it displayed its extraordinary momentum, causing countless demons to tremble in fear. If this continued, the number of invincible demons around him would definitely increase dramatically. 4,000 would become 8,000, and 8,000 would become 16,000. It would definitely increase at a geometrical rate. When that time came, it would not be a problem to unify the entire Hell world. Master! At this moment, countless invincible demons sensed the aura emanating from Xia Ping's body, and they all flew over. Even the invincible demons who had just joined the Hell of the Green Lotus flew over together. What? When these invincible demons saw Xia Ping, they all felt extremely shocked. As the dependents of the Golden Crow of Hell, they instantly sensed the terrifying flames in Xia Ping's body that were like a furnace, as well as the terrifying demonic god bloodline aura. One should know that Xia Ping's current strength had not only advanced to the mid-stage demigod realm, but at the same time, he had also awakened 60 trillion Golden Crow of Hell cells in his body. This was a rather terrifying number. Just the density of the power of his bloodline alone was already no different from that of an ordinary demonic god. Just by standing there, the demonic god aura on his body was enough to distort the void of hell. Master, you've become stronger again. The invincible demons were extremely shocked. They could feel that their master's strength was many times stronger than before. It had only been a few months since they last saw each other, and he had actually evolved to such an extent. Previously, Xia Ping needed to borrow the power source of the Hell of the Green Lotus to suppress them. But now he did not need to. Even if they left the Hell of the Green Lotus, their master would be able to crush them into dust with a single thought. This demonic god's power was too great, and it was simply unprecedented. Is this master? Many invincible demons who had just joined were initially a little unconvinced. However, after seeing Xia Ping, all of them wanted to crawl on the ground. They could not bring themselves to be enemies at all, and it was as if they had seen a demonic god. Just the vast power of the bloodline alone was enough to burn all of the invincible demons present to death. Whatever life and death domain they had would be crushed into dust in an instant, and they would not be able to fight back. This was the strongest demon, a truly invincible demonic god. Very good. Xia Ping said these two words calmly. Immediately, A terrifying power of the bloodline erupted from his body, and with his body as the center, it swept across hundreds of millions of light years. It was as if he had turned into an eternal sun, emitting unparalleled heat. Not only did these invincible demons not panic, but they were also extremely happy. This was because under the corrosion and influence of the golden crow of hell's bloodline, they felt the power of the bloodline in their bodies increase, as if it had been completely purified and integrated with the power of the golden crow of hell. They could feel the power in their bodies increasing rapidly. Even though there was no difference in their comprehension of origin source laws, as their bloodline improved, their strength, speed, and the might of their divine abilities increased tremendously, doubling in strength. One must know that they were invincible demons to begin with, and their strength was terrifying beyond compare. Now, under the influence of the golden crow of hell's bloodline, their strength had doubled. This was simply unheard of. If this continued, even the demons who occupied the high-level planes of hell would not be a match for them. "Go conquer more planes of hell for me," Xiaoping said. "Yes, master." The invincible demons were incomparably excited. Their blood boiled as if they could see the birth of the Lord of Hell. When they conquered all the surrounding high-level planes of hell and subdued all the invincible demons, their master would naturally be crowned king. Chapter 2904. Seeing so many demon subordinates, Xia Ping was very satisfied. If he brought these invincible demons to the main universe, he would probably be able to sweep through everything. The so-called abyss world would not be a match for him at all. However, these demons were not creatures of the modern universe. Once they entered the modern universe, they would most likely be suppressed by the origin of the universe, causing them to be unable to display their original strength. Although he had the power of the true demon god and could deceive the origin laws of the universe, it was impossible for so many invincible demons to deceive all of them. He did not have that much power. However, this didn't matter much. Even if it was just him alone, he could hammer that group of abyssal demons to death. At that moment, Xia Ping's heart stirred. He asked the green ox, "By the way, where did Tan Minglu and the rest go? Why can't I see them anywhere?" He used his divine sense to probe his surroundings. Be it the Green Lotus Hell or the Mountain and Sea Scripture world, he did not see Tan Minglu and the others. No, it wasn't just Tan Minglu. Xiao Jin, Xiao Dumbo, and the others were nowhere to be found. "Master, they went to Gaia Paradise." The green ox said. "Gaia Paradise? Why is it so sudden?" Xia Ping blinked. He had always wanted to enter Gaia Paradise to take a look, but the few Gaia Lolas were gaming all day and were extremely dispirited. He couldn't find a chance to head to Gaia Paradise to take a look. However, he did not expect them to suddenly return to Gaia Paradise. They even brought Tan Minglu and company with them. This is what happened. After those Gaia children returned to the Hell world, their strength improved greatly. They advanced to the realm of ancient sages. It seems that they had completed the mission beyond what they had to complete. Therefore, they were summoned back by Elder Gaia. The Azure Ox said, even Elder Gaia sensed little Dumbo's existence. Therefore, he invited little Dumbo to return to Gaia Paradise. Among them, Tan Minglu, Chong Xiaoqian, and Little Gold were all invited. However, to prevent angering the Gaia race, I did not use any means of tracking them. Up to this day, I still do not know where they have gone. That's not a problem. With the Book of Karma, no matter where they go, even if they go to other universes, they won't be able to hide from me. Xia Ping smiled. The Book of Karma on him could track the endless karma. As long as he wanted to, he could track anyone who was related to him. I see, Gaia Paradise is actually in such a place. Xia Ping took out the Book of Karma and with a thought, he sensed that Gaia Paradise seemed to be in a distant universe. Its exact location was in the central universe. Wait, what's going on? Lu Rulan, Qing Wan, and Tu Linglong are also in Gaia Paradise? Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He saw that the Book of Karma indicated that Lu Rulan, Green Phoenix, and Tu Linglong were in the same location. Furthermore, they were all in Gaia Paradise. One had to know how secretive Gaia Paradise was. Even the myriad races and invincible saints did not know where Gaia Paradise's exact location was. However, Lu Rulan, Green Phoenix, and Tu Linglong were in Gaia Paradise. It was unbelievable. Could it be that they had a fortuitous encounter in Gaia Paradise? Xia Ping was very curious. Thinking of this, he immediately made a decision to head straight to Gaia Paradise to see the situation. And if there was a chance to form an alliance with the Gaia race, it would be a good thing. Several days later, Xia Ping left the Infernal Realm. After leaving the Infernal Realm, he had condensed even more Nether God curse. He had condensed hundreds of thousands of them. Furthermore, the power of these Nether God curse was even stronger. It was enough for these invincible devils to contract even more devils. He believed that the next time he returned to the Infernal Realm, he would definitely see the Green Lotus Hell growing stronger. There would be more invincible devils and more troops. I'm finally back. Xia Ping passed through the void passageway and returned to the southern universe. He sensed the rich and familiar origin energy of the modern universe and could not help but feel touched. This was the place where he was born and grew up. He could deeply sense the power and unfathomability of the universe's origin, as well as the care it had for the native lifeforms. And this feeling could not be sensed by lifeforms that did not head to other universes. At this moment, he felt that his understanding of the universe's origin law had deepened. It was as though endless origin energy was surging into his limbs and bones. At this moment, Xia Ping's heart stirred. He sensed a figure suddenly appearing in the void far away. He did not know when the figure had appeared in front of him. If not for his extremely sharp senses, he would not have noticed it. Who's there? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes and stared at the void in the distance. He was not too worried. At his current level, he was almost invincible in the universe. He would not be afraid of any enemy. Boom! At this moment, a ripple appeared in the void as a figure walked out from the depths of the void. It was a woman with a graceful figure. What? Xia Ping's pupils contracted. He immediately realized that the person who had appeared in front of him was the dragon race scientist Titania. This was not a projection, but her real body. Terrifying nomological power emanated from her body. It was as though she had become one with the void in the universe. It was as though every breath she took caused the void to tremble. Clearly, Titania's power had reached the peak of the demigod level. And she was not an ordinary demigod. To be honest, Xia Ping had seen many invincible saints and demigods. However, no matter if it was the Dragon God Shrine Master, the Human Ancestral Master, the Invincible Demon, or the demigod of the Evil God, none of them could compare to Titania. It seemed that Titania had already understood many great Tao nomological laws. If not for the restrictions of the universe, Titania would have become a god long ago. He could feel the frighteningly dense magic power in Titania's body. Titania even had a thick god-beast bloodline, almost as strong as the golden crow of hell in his body. If he guessed correctly, this should be the bloodline of the ancestral dragon, a sovereign god. Without a doubt, Titania had inherited most of the ancestral dragon's bloodline and reached a level never seen before in the history of the dragon race. Even the unfathomable dragon god Shrine Master could not compare to her. I didn't expect you to find me. I thought I could hide from any saint in this universe with my void universe technique. Even the gods might not be able to find me. I didn't expect to not be able to hide from you. You are indeed the man I like. Titania giggled. Her beautiful eyes were filled with excitement. She looked at Xia Ping as if he was her prey. Chapter 2905. How did you find me? Xia Ping could not figure it out. His whereabouts should be very secretive. He did not expect to be found by Titania as soon as he returned to the modern universe. It was unbelievable. It's simple. I once obtained the power of a sovereign god, divination. Titania giggled. Whether it's a god ability, a peerless cultivation method, or a technology, I can easily divine them all. I can even easily divine the future. What? Xia Ping was shocked. He immediately knew how terrifying this power was. It was even more powerful than his bloodline ability, foresight. At most, he could predict what would happen in the next few days, or sense any danger. However, this ability was different. It could calculate the endless future based on countless clues and information. There was almost nothing in this world that could be hidden from her. Titania had probably been besieged several times, but she was able to escape easily every time. It probably had a lot to do with this power. She probably already calculated her escape route every time she was besieged. She might even have calculated everything she did. This power was even more terrifying than Quetzalcoatl's power copy. After all, the things that could be copied could also be done by divination. It was even more powerful. No wonder Titania could become a world-famous scientist. This power was too unfathomable. If not for the restrictions of the universe, she would probably have become a sovereign god long ago. No, even if you can divine everything in the world, you can't do it without information. Even the cleverest housewife can't cook without rice. How did you find my specific location so accurately? Xia Ping frowned. He felt that he did not leave too many clues. That's right. You're very special. You seem to have the power to hide from fate. You can jump out of the calculations of fate. Even with my constant divination, it took me a lot of time and effort. Titania smiled. Based on where you appeared, what you did, and the traces you left in the universe, I calculated 18,931 possible places you could appear. Therefore, I set up surveillance cameras in all these places and set up teleportation arrays in all these places. No matter where you appear, I will be able to sense it instantly and arrive there in an instant. This perverted woman. The corner of Xia Ping's mouth twitched. This woman was a stalker through and through. She would do anything just to follow him. However, a stalker wasn't scary. What was scary was a woman with great strength and intelligence. What are you trying to do by tracking me for so long? Xia Ping took a deep breath and looked at Titania. What do you want? Didn't I tell you last time? I want to have you. Titania said arrogantly. Hee, foolish woman. Do you think I'm that easy to get? Things are different now. You might have had the upper hand last time, but don't even think about showing off in front of me this time. Xia Ping clenched his fists, and his body surged with violent magic power. He had killed countless lesser gods in the fiend god universe. No matter how powerful Titania was, she was no match for him. This woman wants to capture me and make me her wife? She must be dreaming. This is out of my expectations. I didn't think you'd become a mid-stage demigod in such a short time. This is unbelievable. There was a glimmer in Titania's beautiful eyes as she saw through Xia Ping's strength. Although you have traces of the flow of time on you, and you may have gone to an area where the flow of time is faster and trained for more than 10,000 years, but for a saint, this is still an incredibly fast rate of training. She clicked her tongue in admiration. To be honest, Xia Ping's speed of improvement was beyond her imagination. This was also outside of her calculations. This was also a variable. That was why she liked this man so much. He could actually surpass her calculations. It was unbelievable. One had to know that even God might not be able to escape from her calculations. Everything was within the trajectory of her calculations. Since that's the case, you should know how powerful I am. How dare you appear in front of me? Aren't you afraid that I'll capture you and give you to the dragons? Xia Ping clenched his fists, revealing a fierce expression. Indeed, as you said, in terms of combat power, a weak woman like me might not be your match. So, I actually made some small preparations before coming. Titania giggled. Small preparations? What exactly did you do? Xia Ping suddenly had a bad feeling. It was as if danger was coming from all directions, but he did not know where it was coming from. Do you see this flower? With a swoosh, a bright red flower appeared in Titania's palm. It had 9 petals and contained boundless power of laws. It gave off an unbelievable power and formed a whirlpool. It seemed like it could swallow souls with just a glance. What is this? Xia Ping asked. This is the flower of all things. Titania smiled. This is a space wonder I brought out from the dark forbidden zone. It was watered with the blood of the sovereign god, Mother Earth. It contains the divine power of a sovereign god, and it contains infinite divine power and the power of all things. This flower is colorless, odorless, and silent. Its effect is also very special. It can promote the growth of all things and increase the speed of reproduction. Normally, in order to study the changes of various species and speed up their reproduction, I use the power of this flower to reproduce all things in the world. The effects are very good. Enveloped by the flower's power, these species reproduced and multiplied at a crazy rate. In just a short 100 years, countless lives were added, and the number of species exploded. It can be considered a good helper for me, and its power is something that even gods can't resist. Haha, I suddenly feel like I have something to do. Let's talk next time. Before hearing Titania's words, Xia Ping already felt like he was going to die. This woman was not scary in terms of power, but in terms of intelligence and the countless methods and treasures she had. If he continued to stay, he felt like he would definitely be taken back by this woman to be her wife. It's too late. Why do you think I was so kind and kept talking to you? My goal was to calm you down and wait for the power of the flower of all things to take effect. But as expected of my man, you were able to resist for so long. I once tried to use it on an invincible saint and made it fight with a pig, but that invincible saint could not even last a second. Titania giggled. Chapter 2906. One day later. In a unique space in the universe, this was one of Titania's secret strongholds. However, the flow of time in this space was different from the outside world. A day in the outside world was a year in here. One could imagine that after Xia Ping fell into Titania's trap, he was captured and brought to this place. Then, something indescribable happened, and he was kept there for a whole year. Even though Xia Ping had a strong body, he could not withstand such torment. After all, this was a female dragon, and one that had inherited the bloodline of the ancestral dragon. One could imagine the quality of her body. Even though Xia Ping wanted to resist along the way, the effects of the myriad origin flower were simply too powerful. Even a sovereign god couldn't resist it, let alone him. After a year of toiling day and night, the result was obvious. This shameless female dragon had undoubtedly won the bid. Only then was this shameless woman willing to release Xia Ping. Alright, I'm done. You can go now. Titania said lazily. Bitch, after playing with me, you want me to leave? Xia Ping gritted his teeth. Hee hee, what do you want then? You want me to take responsibility? Titania sneered. Xia Ping was speechless. Why did he feel that these words were so familiar, as if he had heard them somewhere before? By the way, are you planning to go to Gaia Paradise next? Titania suddenly said. How did you know? Xia Ping was a little surprised. He had never mentioned such a thing before. When I was dual cultivating with you, our souls merged, and I accidentally saw it in some of your memories. Titania said. But I warn you in advance, Gaia Paradise is not a good place. It's very dangerous there and you might die there. I'll die? What does that mean? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He sensed that Titania was not joking. She must have some information. I mean exactly what I said. Anyway, it's up to you whether you believe me or not. Get out. With a thud, Titania sent Xia Ping flying with a kick as soon as she finished speaking. Boom, in the next second, a ripple appeared in the depths of the void, and Xia Ping immediately left this space. It was unknown which universe's vacuum he had been teleported to. This woman is really merciless. She doesn't recognize me the moment she puts on her pants. Xia Ping gritted his teeth. He felt that meeting Titania was really bad luck. It was the first time a woman had him in such a tight spot. But during dual cultivation, there seemed to be something special in Titania's soul, but my flames burned it to death. What was it? At this moment, he also remembered that when they were dual cultivating, he suddenly sensed a mysterious and evil power in the depths of Titania's soul, but he did not think much of it. As he had seen too much evil in the evil god universe, the inferno golden crow flames in his body started burning instinctively, instantly burning the energy into ashes. That happened in an instant, and he did not feel much. Is in Gaia? It looks like I have to visit Gaia Paradise this time. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. After all, Tan Minglu, Chong Xiaoqian, Little Dumbo, Xiao Jin, and the rest were all in Gaia Paradise. There was also Lu Rilan, Tu Linglong, Qing Wan, and the rest. He had to go now. And in of he got in of whoosh. Xia Ping's figure flashed as he used the space-time wings and flew towards Gaia Paradise following the karmic threads. At this moment, in a mysterious void, Titania stood up. After Xia Ping left, she no longer had that lazy and charming expression on her face. He's dead? I didn't expect that man to have such terrifying power. He could even kill a god's soul. Titania was shocked. To be honest, her body was in great danger. When the ancestral dragon bloodline in her became denser, the soul of the ancestral dragon was born in the depths of her bloodline. It seemed to want to possess her body and revive in this universe. If it was an ordinary dragon, it would be difficult to resist the ancestral dragon's possession. Titania was the strongest dragon genius in the history of this universe. How could she be willing to be possessed by the ancestral dragon, even if the dragon race was created by the ancestral dragon? Fortunately, the ancestral dragon's soul had not completely awakened, or she would not have been able to resist it. Hence, she had been looking for a way to deal with the ancestral dragon's soul, doing all sorts of forbidden experiments. Although it was not very effective, it still effectively suppressed the ancestral dragon's soul's corrosion. In fact, if she was at her peak, she would not have cared at all. She could easily toy with those saints. But because of the suppression of the ancestral dragon's soul, she could not use her power. She even had to spend most of her energy to suppress the ancestral dragon's soul from awakening. But as time passed, the ancestral dragon's soul grew stronger and stronger. It will seem to be awakening soon. Just as she was about to despair, Xia Ping appeared. This was the only unexpected existence among the god's authority she had obtained. He was the only variable. As a dragon, she felt that perhaps this man's power could help her and resolve the ancestral dragon's soul's corrosion and possession. It was obvious that she had succeeded. When the two were dual cultivating, the ancestral dragon's soul had wanted to come out and invade her soul. She did not expect the terrifying power of fire to surge out of this man's body and instantly burn the ancestral dragon's soul to ashes. After all, that was the soul of a dominating god. It was not so easy to kill. Even though she had done countless experiments, she could not find a way to deal with the ancestral dragon. This was because the ancestral dragon was a creature beyond the norm. It was an existence unimaginable to mortals. Chapter 2907. Wait, what kind of energy is this? Why is it so powerful? Xia Ping planned to head to Gaia Paradise, but after flying for a while, he realized that an extremely powerful energy was surging out of his body. The energy was extremely vast, as if it contained the power of dragons. It was as if countless dragons were wandering around his meridians. Could it be the origin energy that I devoured when I was dual cultivating with Titania? Xia Ping immediately thought of this. He realized that the origin energy in Titania's body was much more powerful and mysterious than he had imagined. It was as if he had not refined ordinary origin energy, but the origin energy of a sovereign god. Could this be the origin energy of the ancestral dragon? Immediately, he remembered the aura he had sensed in the dragon world. It was the ancestral dragon's aura, almost identical to the power in his body. However, there was no doubt that the ancestral dragon's origin energy in his body was much more powerful than any ancestral dragon aura he had encountered before. It seemed that Titania had indeed inherited the ancestral dragon's bloodline. He did not expect her to have so much ancestral dragon's origin energy in her body. It was unimaginably huge. He could devour so much ancestral dragon's origin energy just by dual cultivating with her. After all, the ancestral dragon was the same as the golden crow of hell. They were both sovereigns. Their bloodlines were on the same level and contained incredible power. Hence, it was definitely a fortuitous encounter for him to have the chance to devour the ancestral dragon's origin energy. Incredible power. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He realized that the ancestral dragon's origin energy was completely different from the golden crow of hell. The golden crow of hell was the power of destruction, destroying everything and bringing death to all living beings. And the ancestral dragon had grasped the power of life. It seemed to have grasped the power of earth, wind, water, and fire. It could easily create worlds, and its power was the boundless life force that could promote the growth of countless creatures, raising their aptitudes and bloodlines, causing countless creatures to evolve. It was as if the ancestral dragon held the key to evolution. He realized that his body had undergone huge changes after absorbing the ancestral dragon's origin energy. It was as if his genes had evolved. Every inch of his muscles, every inch of his bones, and every cell was evolving. His power was increasing at a geometrical rate. It seemed to have surpassed the divine elephant of hell. No wonder the blood of these dragons has such an incredible effect. I'm afraid the power that the ancestral dragon wields is evolution. Xia Ping could not help but clench his fists. He recalled that the blood of every giant dragon had incredible effects. Even if it was combined with ordinary creatures, it could give birth to many draconic creatures. Originally, these creatures were just ordinary beasts, but after drinking the dragon's blood, they immediately became powerful subdragons, second only to terrifying creatures like the dragons. Not just ordinary creatures, but even plants, such as flowers and grass, and even non-living things, such as stones, sand, and so on. If they came into contact with dragon blood, their physical form would immediately change and they would evolve to a higher level of life, such as dragon blood grass, dragon blood stone, and so on. In fact, if the aura of the dragon realm were to leak out, it could even help other realms advance. This was all caused by the power of the dragon's bloodline. At the end of the day, it was all due to the influence of the ancestral dragon's bloodline power. This was also why the ancestral dragon's authority was so terrifying. However, this did not mean that the ancestral dragon would let other creatures evolve for free. In fact, creatures that were affected by the ancestral dragon's power and evolved would have the mark of the ancestral dragon's power on them. They would all be controlled by the ancestral dragon and become the ancestral dragon's dependents. However, Xia Ping naturally would not be controlled by the ancestral dragon's power. The moment the ancestral dragon's mark appeared, it was burned to ashes by the infernal golden crow's flames, leaving only pure evolution energy behind. No way, it seems like I'm about to break through. At this moment, Xia Ping felt the infinite power in his body surging. This power wave was almost impossible to suppress, but of course, he did not need to suppress it. He had benefited from the help of countless furnace sorcerers in the evil god universe, which allowed him to obtain a large amount of origin energy at all times, which allowed his cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds. Previously, this huge amount of origin energy had allowed him to advance from the middle stage demigod realm to the peak of the middle stage demigod realm. He was just a step away from advancing to the late stage demigod realm. At this moment, he had obtained the ancestral dragon's origin energy and a part of the sovereign god's power. This was like an opportunity that allowed his power to break through rapidly. Boom! In an instant, Xia Ping felt his body tremble. His body and soul resonated, forming a buzzing sound as if it was the sound of the great Tao. With a cracking sound, a certain bottleneck in his body was suddenly broken by this power. Late-stage demigod realm. However, Xia Ping was neither happy nor sad. To him, this was a matter of course. As long as he accumulated enough power in this realm, he would be able to break through smoothly. Of course, this was only applicable to Xia Ping. If it were other demigods, it would not be so easy for them to break through. God knew how long it would take just to accumulate enough energy to break through. Chapter 2908. A few days later. Following the Book of Cause and Effect, Xia Ping finally arrived at an area near Gaia Paradise. No way, this is near the Dark Forbidden Zone? Xia Ping squinted his eyes. He found that Gaia Paradise had appeared next to the Dark Forbidden Zone, hidden in a void node deep in the void. If it wasn't for the Book of Cause and Effect, he really wouldn't have been able to find the specific location of Gaia Paradise. It was because the restricted darkness region was just too dangerous. No one knew just how large it was. There were distorted spaces everywhere inside, stacking layer upon layer. It was said that even invincible saints would be lost in the dark forbidden zone. Even if one didn't enter the dark forbidden zone, just being near it would cause layers of space to appear, constantly twisting. Even ancient saints had to be careful when coming here. Otherwise, they would be instantly swallowed by the twisted power of time and space and be banished into the eternal void turbulence. The dark forbidden zone? Xia Ping stared at the dark area in the distance. This place was the most mysterious area in the entire universe. Even invincible saints who had lived for countless years didn't know much about this place. Under his observation, he found that the dark forbidden zone was full of densely packed restrictions and formations. One by one, they merged together as if they had formed independent void laws. Vaguely, the dark forbidden zone seemed to be incompatible with the laws of the universe. It was like the cancer of the universe, constantly absorbing the energy of the universe. If it was other saints, they might not be able to see what the secret of the dark forbidden zone was, but under Xia Ping's observation he suddenly found that the dark forbidden zone was a giant nest. I see. Suddenly, Xia Ping clenched his fists. According to the memory of Quetzalcoatl God, Chaos Jellyfish, and other sovereigns, in fact, similar nests had appeared in other universes. This was called the Doomsday Shelter. Because the universe had a lifespan, when the universe's lifespan ended, even sovereigns would fall along with it. And the more powerful the god, the faster they would die. To prolong one's life, the only way was to prolong the life of the universe, so that the universe could live a second or third life. But wanting to prolong the life of the universe was not so simple. God didn't know how many gods had tried to do this, but in the end, they could only watch the universe fall and die with it. But as time went by, some gods came up with a second way to survive, which was to create doomsday shelters. The laws of heaven and earth were different from the laws of the universe. If an ordinary being lived in such a shelter, they would be able to withstand the power of the universe collapsing. From there, they would live until the next universe epoch. Just like the Dragon Clan, the Phoenix Clan, the Black Tortoise Clan, the Qilin Clan, and the other divine beast clans, they were shelters built by the powerful gods of their respective clans, allowing some of their weaker clans to enter. They could survive the collapse of the universe, the destruction of the universe, and they could live until the beginning of the Second Era. However, it was not so simple for gods. That was because they were too powerful, and their entanglement with the universe's origin and laws was too deep. Their souls were practically fused with the universe's origin. So, when the universe collapsed, the true spirits of the gods would be destroyed. Not even the sanctuaries could protect them. Because ordinary life forms didn't get too deeply entangled with the universe's origin source, they were able to survive until the Second Era. Of course, because they weren't born in this era, their status was no different from the life forms of other universes. Like the life forms of other universes, once they appeared, they would be targeted by the universe's origin source. In fact, in the chaos, many life forms of other universes became wanderers in the chaos void. They couldn't enter any other universe, and they couldn't return to their own universe. They could only wander in the chaos void. Once they were discovered by the chaos void's monsters, they would most likely die. They would be devoured. As for the gods, they didn't want to die just like that. So, they spent a lot of time, and after countless divinations, they finally found a way to survive. This way to survive was to fake death. In other words, they had to deceive the universe's origin laws and force their true spirits out of the universe's origin source. That way, they could fake death and they wouldn't fall with the universe. The problem was that fake death came with a price. If they wanted to free their true spirits from the universe's origin source, they would suffer a backlash from the universe's origin source. Even a Dominator-level god couldn't bear such a price, and it was basically a death sentence. Even if this plan succeeded, they would be extremely weak and wouldn't be able to unleash their power for a long time. So, in order to protect themselves, these gods spent countless resources to build god graveyards. This was to protect them from being killed by other life forms when they revived. From the scale of the darkness zone, It was clear that the gods of the previous universe had succeeded. Otherwise, the darkness zone wouldn't have such terrifying power. No, that's not right. It's not as simple as the previous universe's era. Xiaoping's eyes flashed. One had to know that the universe was a reincarnation cycle. After such a long time, it was unknown how many reincarnations there would be. If it was some powerful god, they might have a way to live through one epoch after another. In other words, the gods of the darkness zone weren't just from the previous universe's era. There were probably gods from the era before the one before that, or even the one before the one before that. It was precisely because of this that, after epoch, countless gods pushed the darkness zone to become so powerful. This place also hid countless secrets of the universe. The life forms of the current universe had obtained countless benefits from the darkness zone. For example, the few divine weapons of the human race were found in the darkness zone. Are these gods going to revive? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He could totally imagine that if the modern universe evolved to a certain extent, the suppression of the universe's origin source on the gods of the previous era would weaken. They would definitely crawl out of their graves and revive instantly. It wouldn't be long before countless gods from the old era would appear in the universe. At that time, the so-called peak races like the human race, demon race, bug race, elemental race, and so on would probably not be a match for these gods. They would all be enslaved by these gods. The entire universe would also descend into a dark era. He knew that in the evil god universe, when those gods were still alive, the lives of humans were miserable. To be honest, such a situation would probably be many times more dangerous than the demons from the abyss invading the modern universe. Chapter 2909. Oh, right. Should I take this opportunity to kill those gods that are faking their deaths? Xiaoping stroked his chin. To be honest, those gods were at their weakest right now. They were unable to put up much resistance. If he wanted to kill those gods, now was the best time to do so. This was like taking advantage of their weakness to kill them. Of course, those sleeping gods naturally thought of this as well. Hence, they had set up countless powerful restrictive formations in their tombs. Even if a god entered their tombs, he or she would suffer an unimaginable blow. This was also the reason why invincible saints would encounter so many unexpected dangers when they entered the forbidden darkness zone. It was because they had entered the gods' tombs and were killed as enemies. However, this was not impossible. After all, after experiencing the collapse of the universe and the erosion of time, even the restrictive formations set up by dominating gods would be damaged. It was just like how even the most sophisticated machinery would eventually rust and malfunction with the passage of time, even if it was extremely powerful at the beginning. If he could seize these moments and opportunities, he might be able to break down the restrictive formations in their tombs and plunder all the treasures in their tombs. He might even be able to kill those gods. At this moment, Xiaoping's heart skipped a beat as if he had a sudden inspiration. The golden crow of hell bloodline in his body shook, and a huge wave of information surged into the depths of his sea of consciousness. Rumble! In an instant, his soul seemed to have arrived in the river of destiny. He looked down from above and saw 3 figures appearing in a dark place. They were Lu Rilon, Tu Linglong, and Qing Wan. They were fleeing at high speed and were in grave danger. They were being chased by some invincible saints and even abominations. It was almost impossible for them to survive. There was even danger brewing in their bodies. With a thud, the scene shattered. Xiaoping immediately broke free from the space-time scene, and his eyes regained clarity. Is this foreseeing the future? Xiaoping squinted his eyes. This was his bloodline magic. It was a passive foreseeing of the future. If he encountered any danger, or if the people around him encountered any danger, this force would naturally appear to seek good fortune and avoid calamity. This was like a warning from the Great Path. That place is the Forbidden Darkness Zone. Why did these 3 people run into the Forbidden Darkness Zone for no reason? And they seem to have obtained some kind of treasure. Is that why they are being chased by the invincible saint? Xiaoping frowned. Forget it, I'll ask them when the time comes. According to this picture of the future, This will happen one day later. There should still be time to find them. Initially, he wanted to explore Gaia Paradise. However, now that Lu Rulan, Tu Linglong, and the Green Phoenix were in danger, he temporarily gave up on entering Gaia Paradise. It was better to save the three of them first. Thinking of this, his figure flashed and he immediately entered the dark forbidden zone. One day later, Lu Rulan, Tu Linglong, and Qing Luan gathered on a dark land at the periphery of the forbidden darkness zone. They fled frantically into the distance at an extremely fast speed. He did not know what kind of fortuitous encounter the three of them had, but their strength had advanced to the level of a near-ancient sage. They had mastered the law of space, and their strength had increased by a lot. This was especially true for Tu Linglong. She was a space-time rabbit and had a deep understanding of the space-time law. After advancing to the near-ancient saint realm, her strength had improved by leaps and bounds. With a casual leap, she seemed to have traveled hundreds of millions of kilometers. Even the countless space-time faults around them could not stop Tu Linglong's space-time power. Even so, Tu Linglong did not look relaxed at all. "Did you get rid of those bad guys?" Tu Linglong clenched her teeth. "No." Lu Rulan shook her head. "They left a tracking mark on us. If we don't get rid of the mark, we won't be able to escape even if we run to the ends of the world. Damn the tracking mark. It's too stubborn. No matter how we try to get rid of it, we can't get rid of it within a short period of time. We just accidentally obtained some god's treasure and inheritance. Why are those invincible saints chasing us like mad dogs? How shameless." Tu Linglong clenched her teeth. Hearing this, the Green Phoenix was helpless. How was this an ordinary god's inheritance? In fact, they had entered the Forbidden Darkness Zone by accident. After passing the Demon Divine Hall's test, their strength improved by leaps and bounds and they advanced to the Lightning Tribulation realm. Normally, they would need a very long time to advance to the Immortal Saint realm. The problem was that the Green Phoenix's luck was too good. She was a divine beast favored by the heavens and earth. As her strength continued to grow, the Green Phoenix bloodline in her body became thicker and thicker. Her luck also became stronger. Things like picking up treasures when she went out and obtaining an ancient inheritance when she fell off a cliff were child's play. Whenever she appeared in a place, she would definitely return with a bountiful harvest. Such luck also attracted the attention of the demon race saints. They tried to capture the Green Phoenix and study her carefully. Although everyone was part of the demon race was just a collective term for countless races. They actually included the fox race, wolf race, tiger race, elephant race, and so on. Every race fought to the death on a daily basis. The conflict was almost irreconcilable. As for demons like the Green Phoenix who had no background, they naturally did not care about them. Even if they killed her, no one would have any objections. In the process of being chased by the demon race saints, Tu Linglong made a space-time jump. With the Green Phoenix's luck, they actually passed through a space-time wormhole and entered the Forbidden Darkness Zone. Naturally, the demon race saints were also fearless. They jumped in and wanted to capture the two juniors. They did not expect that the demon race saints would be torn apart and devoured by the abomination of the Forbidden Darkness Zone. They were killed by such bad luck. The demon race saints were pitiful. Even though they had monstrous combat power, they could not win against luck. This was why supernatural powers could not win against fate. With the Green Phoenix's invincible luck, they were like fish in water in the Forbidden Darkness Zone. They turned misfortunes into blessings and obtained countless treasures. Then, they even met Lu Rulan who had entered the Forbidden Darkness Zone. As a result, the three of them hit it off right away and became sisters. They kept adventuring in the Forbidden Darkness Zone. Their abilities improved by leaps and bounds, and they obtained countless treasures and opportunities. During one of their adventures, they accidentally entered a huge tomb of the god of sin and instantly fell in. Just like that, they were lucky enough to obtain the inheritance and all the treasures in the tomb of the god of sin. The tomb of the god of sin had already been attacked by some invincible saints for many years. Just as they were about to reap the rewards, 3 juniors got there first. Who could stand such a thing? The invincible saints were about to go crazy. They chased after Lu Rulon, Tu Linglong, and the Green Phoenix like madmen. Chapter 29:10. However, Lu Rulon, Tu Linglong, and the Green Luan were not people who could be killed so easily. They had an earth-shattering encounter in the Forbidden Darkness Zone and obtained the inheritance of a god. After Lu Rulon inherited the Blood Soul Saint's inheritance, she also obtained the inheritance of the Master of the Blood Sea in the Forbidden Darkness Zone. It was said that he was a dominant level god who was tyrannical 3 epochs ago. He was said to be immortal as long as the Blood Sea was not destroyed. Unfortunately, after the universe collapsed, it still died. Tu Linglong obtained the inheritance of the Master of Space and Time. He was a dominant level god 2 epochs ago. He mastered the space-time Tao and was extremely powerful. The Green Luan obtained the inheritance of the Master of Destiny. He was a dominant level god 5 epochs ago. He was said to control the fate of all living beings in the universe. He was omniscient and omnipotent. He was similar to the evil god of destiny in the evil god universe, but his ability was different. It was because they had obtained the inheritance of a god and had countless tricks up their sleeves that they could escape from the invincible saints. Sister Green Luan, where are we going? Lu Rulon asked. Honestly, she had gotten used to the Green Luan's invincible luck after spending so much time with it. Wherever the Green Luan wanted to go, no matter how dangerous it seemed, she would be able to turn misfortune into fortune. Even if it was a dead end, she would find a way out. This was not as simple as good luck. It was simply fate's blessing. Therefore, she was not worried that they would be hunted down by the invincible saints. There's no need to run. It seems like we can turn misfortune into fortune if we stay here. The Green Luan blinked, looking confused. Really? There's nothing to hide here, and there's nothing particularly dangerous. Will we be able to survive if we stay here? Tu Linglong asked. She looked left and right, but she could not figure out how this place could turn misfortune into fortune. I'm not sure. This is fate's instruction. It's just my hunch. The Green Luan said. I see. Since Sister Green Luan said so, it must be so. Lu Rulon nodded. She had absolute trust in the Green Luan. It couldn't be helped. No matter who it was that had seen countless misfortunes turn into blessings, countless situations of survival in desperate situations, they would develop an absolute sense of trust towards the Green Phoenix. That was simply an unreasonable ability. It was also because of this ability that they could survive in the Forbidden Darkness Zone. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 invincible saints flew over from afar. They surrounded Qing Luan, Lu Rulon, and Tu Linglong in an instant. They looked ferocious and murderous. Even though the Green Luan, Lu Rulon, and Tu Linglong were confident in their abilities, they still felt nervous. They did not know how they could escape. Why aren't you running anymore? Aren't you 3 bastards having a hard time escaping? You've really made us suffer. An undefeatable sage gritted his teeth and glared at Lu Rulon and the rest. Luan Saint, I Rulon, Saint Luan and Linglong Saint, and Luan Saint, and was the Lingless were and Saint Luan the Luan Saint. The Rulon, the god, Luan, the Yang Luan king, who was Luan Rolwas, the Rulon and Saint Luan devils and Luan Luan. If he Yang they were, he was, and they would be Luan Rulon they would, and were. As they Luan, they hated Lu Rulon and the others even more. They wanted to tear the 3 of them into pieces. Don't be reckless. Let me tell you, we're protected. Don't act recklessly. To tell you the truth, we are also protected by someone. If you dare to harm us, something bad will definitely happen. Tu Linglong placed her hands on her hips. Protected? Hearing this, an invincible saint laughed loudly. So what if someone is protecting you? Do you think that we, a dozen invincible saints, will be afraid of you? To be honest, the invincible saints were the most powerful people in the universe. They were their greatest support and were unrivaled. Who would they be afraid of? No matter who the 3 of them were, they would not be afraid of them at all. They would not even be able to make the invincible saints back off. Therefore, they wanted to laugh and think that the 3 of them were too naive. Stop talking nonsense with them. Kill them immediately and take away all their treasures. This is the Forbidden Darkness Zone. If we stay here for too long, something bad might happen. One of the invincible saints said in a deep voice. The other invincible saints could not help but nod. They were extremely fearful of every place in the Forbidden Darkness Zone. Nobody knew what would happen in that place. Even if it was a seemingly safe place, it wouldn't be strange if something ominous suddenly happened and an invincible saint fell. That was a daily occurrence in the Forbidden Darkness Zone. Sister Green Phoenix, these guys are going to kill us. Are your premonitions right or not? If they're not, let's run away, Tu Linglong said through her divine sense. I'm not sure either. Maybe it doesn't work sometimes. I think we should run. Green Phoenix was a little unsure. In an instant, the invincible saints attacked. They wanted to kill Lu Rulon, Tu Linglong and Green Phoenix. Rumble at that moment, the entire world seemed to have stopped. The laws of time and space seemed to have stopped flowing and the area was completely locked. Even the invincible saints were unable to move at that moment. They could not even move their eyeballs. They were extremely terrified and had no idea what was going on. Were they so unlucky that they could even encounter something bad in a place like this? At that moment, a figure walked out of the void and appeared in front of everyone. He emitted a boundless might and easily distorted the space-time. Xia Ping, Lu Rulon, Green Phoenix, and Tu Linglong could not help but call out. They did not expect Xia Ping to appear in a place like this and meet them here. However, Xia Ping did not say anything. He looked down and threw a punch in the void toward the invincible saints. No, wait. The invincible saints were extremely terrified. They felt a fatal danger. If they were hit by that punch, the strongest people in the universe would really die. In the face of such terrifying power, they were all ants and could not resist at all. They could not help but scream and beg for mercy. Perhaps there was some misunderstanding. However, it was too late by the time they said that. Chapter 29:11. This punch was Xia Ping's extremely pure fist force, but it also contained unparalleled demonic power. It was superimposed with the power of the golden crow of hell, the divine elephant of hell, the feathered serpent god, the chaotic jellyfish, and other clones. This was equivalent to combining the 9 forces into one. It was extremely terrifying and had the power to shatter laws. With just one punch, more than a dozen invincible saints died. The terrifying fist force instantly shattered their life and death domain, and shattered their life and death laws, leaving them no chance to resist. Rumble, when the fist force seeped into their bodies, it instantly killed every cell in their bodies, obliterated their vitality, and even shattered their souls. The surrounding space was also easily distorted by this terrifying fist force like it was made of paper. It shattered like glass, and dense cracks appeared in the void. It looked very terrifying. With a few thuds, the invincible sages bled from their orifices and died. Their bodies immediately fell to the ground, unable to move. They were completely dead. Are you kidding me? He killed more than 10 invincible sages with one punch. When did this bad guy become so strong? Tu Linglong was dumbfounded when she saw this. To be honest, after receiving the inheritance of the Master of Spacetime, she thought that her vision had been greatly improved and her strength had improved by leaps and bounds. Ordinary sages were no longer a threat to her. Although she might not be able to catch up to that freak Xia Ping now, she could at least close the gap. But now, she could not see the gap between them at all, and she had no idea how far the gap between her and this bad guy was. This was simply hopeless. He killed more than 10 invincible sages with one punch. Was he a freak? She could hardly say anything at all. He's too strong. Lu Rulon was also shocked. She clearly remembered that back in her hometown, Xia Ping was just an ordinary cultivator. He could not even deal with slightly stronger cultivators and had to run for their lives. But now, not only had he become the strongest in the universe, he had become a terrifying existence that could kill more than 10 invincible sages with his bare hands. This change was so great that she could not imagine it. To be honest, even in the war against the abyss demons in the primordial age, More than 10 invincible sages had died at one time. Since when did invincible sages die so easily? If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, she wouldn't have believed it. Xia Ping, why are you here? Green Phoenix asked curiously. Something happened. I happened to pass by and sensed that you were in danger, so I rushed over. Xia Ping said in a deep voice. On the other hand, you guys don't have much strength, yet you actually dare to enter the Forbidden Darkness region. Do you think your lives are too long? What do you mean we don't have much strength? We're near ancient saints now. Near ancient saints, you know? Hearing this, Tu Linglong exploded with anger. This shameless man always looked down on her, and she glared at Xia Ping, wanting to eat him alive. Is that so? Why do I feel like you're about to be killed? Xia Ping said in disdain. You're the one who was killed. If Sister Blue Phoenix didn't say that we could live if we stayed, we would have escaped without a trace a long time ago. No matter how powerful those invincible saints are, they wouldn't be able to catch us. In other words, you appeared purely because of Sister Blue Phoenix's ability. You're a tool controlled by fate. Tu Linglong chuckled. Interesting. What's going on? Tell me everything in detail. Xia Ping rubbed his chin, a dangerous glint in his eyes. Half a day later, Tu Linglong, Lu Rulan, and Green Phoenix told Xia Ping about their experiences during this period of time, as well as the various fortuitous encounters and benefits they had, as well as their abilities. Hee, now you know that we're the heirs of the gods, and will become great gods sooner or later. If you suck up to me now, it's not like I can't give you some benefits in the future. Tu Linglong placed her hands on her hips, looking proud. Take out the godheads you've obtained and let me have a look. Xia Ping said in a deep voice. What do you want? Green Phoenix asked curiously. She wasn't worried that Xia Ping was after her godheads, but she was curious about what he wanted. I want to check. The things of the gods are extremely dangerous, and their benefits aren't that easy to obtain. Xia Ping said. Hearing this, Tu Linglong, Green Phoenix, and Lu Rulan took out the godheads of the 3 sovereign-level gods, the Space-Time Master, the Destiny Master, and the Blood Sea Master. How are you going to check them? Lu Rulan asked. It's simple. Do you see this gourd? It's a supreme secret treasure from the deepest part of hell, Yellow Spring Holy Water. Even the souls of sovereign-level gods will be cleansed and destroyed if they encounter the Yellow Spring Holy Water. Xia Ping took out a gourd of Yellow Spring Holy Water. It's that powerful? Tu Linglong, Green Phoenix, and Lu Rulan were astonished. He could even obtain such a treasure. It seemed like Xia Ping's fortuitous encounters during this period of time might be even more unbelievable than theirs. Xia Ping didn't say anything after that. He asked Tu Linglong and the others to leave for a while, then he placed the 3 godheads on the ground and watered them with the Yellow Spring Holy Water. Sizzle, sizzle, in an instant, the 3 godheads emitted thick smoke and sizzling sounds at the same time. At the same time, an earth-shattering roar was transmitted, distorting the space-time. It hurts, it hurts. What exactly is this? Why is it hurting our divine souls? This is impossible. What the hell happened? Damn it, you lowly ant. What exactly did you do to us? Stop, stop, stop right now. You damned mortal, damned ant. How dare you disrespect the great gods? You're courting death. Do you know that you're courting death? In an instant, powerful divine souls emerged from the depths of the 3 godheads. They let out earth-shattering roars inside the godheads with uncontrollable anger. A single roar was enough to emit an irresistible divine might. What? Tu Linglong, Green Phoenix, and Lu Rulan were shocked. They couldn't believe it. They didn't expect the 3 godheads to be so strange. Those gods were still alive. At the thought of how they had been carrying 3 living gods with them without them noticing, they felt a chill run down their spines. How dare the gods of the old era be so arrogant? This isn't your era anymore. Go to your graves in peace. I'll make good use of your powers. Xia Ping showed no mercy. He watered the 3 godheads with the Yellow Spring Holy Water. Chapter 29:12. Hearing that, Xia Ping acted even faster. He couldn't let the three gods escape. To be honest, if he didn't kill them while they were still weak, they wouldn't be able to escape alive and cause great trouble for him in the future. Walala, in an instant, a large amount of yellow spring holy water poured into the three godhoods as if it was free. They were instantly submerged by the yellow spring holy water. At the same time, the yellow spring holy waters seeped into the godhoods. Even godhoods formed from great Tao laws couldn't resist this kind of power. It easily seeped in. In an instant, the three gods let out miserable screams as if they were ordinary people who had been splashed with acid. The yellow spring holy water was a universal treasure. Even demon gods were afraid of it. It could cleanse all sins and corrode all souls. Even dominator gods couldn't resist it. Even if these three godhoods were dominator gods when they were alive, they were just souls now. How could they resist the cleansing of the yellow spring holy water? After a few breaths, the screams of the gods became weaker and weaker until they stopped. Then a large amount of white smoke spread out. Finally, there was no more movement. Are they dead? Tu Linglong asked nervously. She was a little worried that the gods inside the godhoods would come back to life. Yes, they're completely dead. Xia Ping nodded. He used the Golden Crow's eyes of hell to see the situation inside the godhoods. He found that the divine souls inside had been completely cleansed by the yellow spring holy water. Inside the godhoods, there was only a huge mass of pure soul energy of a dominator god. After being cleansed by the yellow spring holy water, the soul energy was extremely pure and flawless. It could be said that the three gods couldn't be more dead. However, they were really unlucky to meet Xia Ping. Moreover, he had the yellow spring holy water, which could restrain these gods who were faking death. If he didn't have the yellow springs holy water, it wouldn't be easy for Xia Ping to kill these sovereign gods. Unfortunately, they met their nemesis this time. Why aren't they dead? Qing Yuan and Lu Rulan were shocked and couldn't believe it. It's normal. These are gods. How can they die so easily? Even ants want to live, let alone gods. They don't want to see their era end. They're always looking for a chance to resurrect. Xia Ping said solemnly. He could tell at a glance that these gods were planning to seize the opportunity to reincarnate. Although they were gods from the previous era, if they could successfully reincarnate, they would be treated as creatures of this era and would no longer be targeted by the universe's origin. Therefore, at the start of every cosmos epoch, there would be a large number of old undying gods who wanted to reincarnate into this cosmos. However, the conditions for possession were also very harsh. The more powerful the god, the harsher and more difficult the conditions for possession and rebirth. They wanted to choose a powerful and talented body. Only in this way could they continue to improve, or the body they had taken over could withstand their souls, so that they wouldn't explode and die again. Don't think that obtaining a divine spark is a good thing. It could also be a trap. Xia Ping said solemnly. Of course, not every godhead had a god who intended to take over someone else's body to be reborn. In fact, there were quite a number of gods who had indeed fallen and were completely dead. It was impossible for them to take over someone else's body to be reborn. One had to see through the tricks in the godheads in order to make good use of such a fortuitous encounter. If that's the case, won't we be in big trouble when we obtain the godheads? Tu Linglong was a little flustered. But, did you obtain a lot of godheads? Xia Ping asked curiously. It's not a lot. Just a few hundred godhoods. Tu Linglong waved her hand and immediately took out a large number of godheads. With a whoosh, they piled up like a small mountain, emitting a strong and dense divine power. Where did you guys find so many godheads? Seeing this, Xia Ping's mouth twitched uncontrollably and he was speechless. To be honest, he had only obtained over 60 godheads after working hard for over 10,000 years in the fiend god universe. However, these fellas had obtained hundreds of godheads so casually. Moreover, these godheads weren't considered low-level. There were quite a number of middle god and higher god godheads. I just randomly picked them up. Tu Linglong said casually. Qing Yuan and Lu Rulan nodded in agreement. They really did not have to spend much effort to pick up a pile of godheads just by walking around a random place. After all, This was the Forbidden Darkness Zone, the graveyard of the gods. Too many gods had died here. Moreover, it wasn't just the gods from one universe era, but many gods from multiple universe eras had died here. One could imagine how many godheads had been accumulated in this tomb of the gods. However, they were the only ones who had managed to pick up the godheads instead of the other invincible saints. They could only say that their luck was off the charts. It was as if fate was looking out for them. All right. Xia Ping was speechless. He piled up the godheads together and immediately poured the Yellow Springs holy water into them, not caring if there was anything fishy about them or not. Zzzt. In an instant, some of the godheads emitted white smoke. At the same time, they let out shrill cries that were 100 times more miserable than the cries of pigs being slaughtered. Ah, damned mortals, what have you done to us? You're courting death. How dare you blaspheme the gods? Do you know the consequences? Do you know the consequences? I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you and tear you into pieces. Chapter 29:13. I didn't expect these gods to be so insidious. They actually hid in the godhoods and pretended to be dead. Tu Linglong gritted her teeth and shuddered. If they had been careless and Xia Ping hadn't come here, they would have been ambushed by these gods. Although they had received the inheritance of the gods, they hadn't expected it to be a sugar-coated bullet. Instead, the candy was poisonous and would kill anyone who ate it. The universe is indeed too dangerous. There's nothing in the world that can be picked up so cheaply. Lu Rulan sighed. She felt more and more how terrifying the universe was. Benefits that could be seen everywhere might not necessarily be benefits. Instead, they could be traps that would kill them. They had to be extremely careful. Xia Ping, what about the inheritance we received? Will there be any tricks? Green Yuan looked at Xia Ping. She was a little worried that something would happen to the inheritance she had received. If something happened, it would be terrible. That's okay. Knowledge is knowledge. There won't be any tricks. Moreover, these gods have already been purified by me with the Yellow Springs holy water. Even if there are any tricks, they won't be activated. Xia Ping said that there was no need to worry about such things. Those gods passed their knowledge to their heirs in hopes of obtaining a strong, healthy, potential body that could be possessed successfully. They wouldn't do anything fishy. That's good. Green Yuan heaved a sigh of relief. If there was something fishy about the inheritance she had received, she would probably have to get rid of it and start from scratch. If there were no problems, they could continue cultivating. Alright, leave these godhoods to me. I'll check carefully to see if there are any that slipped through the net. Xia Ping waved his hand and kept all the godhoods, indicating that he had reluctantly accepted them. To be honest, although there were backdoors to these godhoods, they had all been cleared by him. It was extremely safe, so there wouldn't be any accidents at the moment. Moreover, these godhoods were the crystallization of many great Tao laws. They contained the authority and power of the gods. They had unimaginable abilities and were extremely powerful and precious. If these godhoods appeared in the evil god cosmos, it was unknown how many evil gods would fight over them. They might even start a war. After all, godhoods were such top-notch treasures. If he used Feathered Serpent God's authority to replicate the authority of these godhoods, he would definitely be able to grasp many great Tao laws. Especially those 3 godheads left behind by overlord gods. Every single one of them was a terrifying existence that had grasped over 1,000 grand Tao laws, and it was obvious how formidable their authority was. If he could use the Feathered Serpent God's power to analyze all of these godhoods, his strength would definitely improve by leaps and bounds, and he would be able to grasp many great Tao laws. However, it would take a very long time to duplicate a sovereign god's authority. Based on Feathered Serpent God's current ability to possess doppelgangers, it might take hundreds of thousands of years to successfully duplicate it. Not to mention, there wasn't just one sovereign god's divine spark. There were 3 divine sparks, and there were even hundreds of divine sparks from other gods. However, Xia Ping had already thought about this. He had the eternal clock with him, and he could completely adjust the flow of time. If he expanded it to the maximum, One day in the outside world would be equivalent to billions of years in the eternal clock's domain. Although running the eternal clock required a large amount of origin energy, and an extremely terrifying amount of energy was flowing away at every moment, to be honest, origin energy was the last thing he lacked. In particular, he had a large number of furnace wizards in the evil god universe. They were constantly sacrificing evil creatures and devouring the origin energy of the evil god universe. It could be said that he had a large amount of origin energy coming in at every moment, and he no longer lacked it. Instead, he had an endless supply of it every day, and he often stored it. Therefore, he could use the eternal clock at will, reverse the flow of time, and create an environment that could allow him to cultivate. As long as he was given enough time, he would be able to completely grasp the great Tao laws and authority of these godheads. All right, you can take them all. Tu Linglong was already afraid of these gods' items. Even if it was an ordinary god's item, she did not know what the other party had left behind. A small fry like her was still far from being able to use the god's treasures. If she was not careful, she would probably be killed by the god's items and die. Lu Rulan and Qing Wan nodded. They also felt that it was better not to touch the god's items if they could. This was also the safest thing for them. All right. Xia Ping nodded and immediately put the godheads into the world of the classic of mountains and seas. Then, his feathered serpent clone immediately moved, sitting cross-legged and meditating. The eternal clock adjusted the flow of time in this area, allowing the feathered serpent clone to speed up its comprehension of the great Tao laws of the godheads. A few days in the outside world would be hundreds of millions of years in this area. With such a long period of comprehension, the feathered serpent clone could completely comprehend the great Tao laws of the godheads and successfully replicate the god's authority. What do you guys plan to do next? After doing these things, Xia Ping looked at Tu Linglong and the others and asked. Of course, we'll continue to adventure in the Forbidden Dark area and plunder treasures, Tu Linglong said matter-of-factly. Lu Rulan and Qing Wan nodded as well. They were very bold now. Xia Ping was speechless. Plunder treasures? If I'm not wrong, the gods will awaken very soon. This is an unprecedented period of danger in the Forbidden Dark area. If you guys continue to stay here, you'll definitely be discovered by those old undying gods. You guys can't continue to stay here. Moreover, the abyss demons will attack the modern universe very soon. By then, the flames of war will engulf the entire universe. If the three of you stay outside, you probably won't even know how to write the word death. Then what should we do? Tu Linglong, Qing Wan, and Lu Rulan asked worriedly. Cultivate in my world of the classic of mountains and seas for a period of time first. Come out after I've dealt with the abyss demons and the gods. Xia Ping's eyes revealed a hint of cold light. With his current strength, dealing with the invasion of the abyss demons shouldn't be too big of a problem. The most troublesome ones were the gods of the Forbidden Dark area. Once these gods awakened collectively, who knew what would happen? All right. Tu Linglong, Lu Rulan, and Qing Wan nodded. They indeed had nowhere else to go at the moment. Sush. As soon as he finished speaking, Xia Ping waved his hand and sent Tu Linglong, Lu Rulan, and Qing Wan into the world of the classic of mountains and seas so that they could cultivate there temporarily. Of course, he also prepared many exotic fruits. He believed that they would be able to speed up their cultivation speed. Chapter 29:14. At this moment, Xia Ping's heart stirred. He sensed Little Gold's telepathic voice transmission. Such a voice transmission could be heard clearly even across a universe. Little Gold rarely used telepathic voice transmission, but he did not expect to use it now. Master, Little Gold said. What's the matter? Did something happen? Xia Ping asked. Recently, we went to Gaia Paradise and were received by the Gaias. However, this group of Gaias seems to have a huge problem. I can feel the deep malice in their hearts. Little Gold said. What happened? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He knew that after Little Gold devoured many divine artifact fragments, she had many abilities, including the ability to understand people's hearts and sense good and evil. Since Little Gold said so, it must be true. I'm not sure. In short, this group of Gaia is very problematic. Perhaps they are not the real Gaia. Now, Sister Dumbo seems to have been taken away by them. They said that they are going to hold a coming-of-age ceremony. Also, the Gaia sisters from before were taken away as well. Now, we seem to be under temporary house arrest. They said that we can only leave after the ceremony is over. Little Gold recounted what had happened during this period of time. Coming-of-age ceremony? At this moment, Xia Ping also recalled what Titania had said. Could it be that there was really a problem with these Gaia? If there was really a problem, what were they planning? When will the coming-of-age ceremony begin? Thinking of this, he immediately asked. It will begin in 3 days. I feel that there is a huge problem with this place. These Gaia contain evil power. They seem to be different from ordinary Gaia, Little Gold said. Xiaojin said. She felt an ominous aura from these Gaia, which made her very uncomfortable. Wait there for the time being. Don't act rashly. I will be there soon. Xia Ping said in a deep voice. Understood, Master. Little Gold nodded. On the surface, she looked dull, but in fact, she was smarter than anyone else. Gaia? What are they planning? Forget it. No matter what they are planning, don't touch my people. Otherwise, I will make them regret it for the rest of their lives. Xia Ping's eyes flashed. A day later, Xia Ping directly left the Forbidden Darkness Zone. He did not encounter any danger. At the same time, he quickly arrived at Gaia Paradise near the Forbidden Darkness Zone. Gaia Paradise was hidden in a spatial rift. It was extremely well hidden, and there was a powerful barrier around it. Even an invincible saint would find it difficult to discover such a spatial rift. However, this did not include Xia Ping. With the infernal Golden Crow's eye, he easily found the spatial rift that led to Gaia Paradise. At the same time, he concealed his figure and used Kunpeng's ability to silently pass through the spatial barrier. The next second, he entered the legendary Gaia Paradise. What a big place! Upon entering Gaia Paradise, Xia Ping immediately felt as though he had entered an incomparably massive world, larger than any of the major 1,000 worlds he had ever seen. This world was full of vitality. Lush vegetation grew everywhere, and primeval forests were everywhere. At the same time, there were countless rare birds and strange beasts living in the forests. Obviously, in Gaia Paradise, not only did Gaia survive, but also many ordinary creatures. At the same time, the spiritual chi of heaven and earth in this place was extremely rich. Even the holy land of Taichu of the human clan could not compare to Gaia Paradise. There was even a mysterious divine power in the air, filled with infinite creation energy. The creatures and plants living in this place were extremely powerful and evolved rapidly. Therefore, the plants and animals in this world were also extremely huge. Any random tree was tens of thousands of meters tall, and any random animal was tens of thousands of feet tall. When humans came to this place, they were like dwarfs, not worth mentioning at all. They were extremely small. However, what surprised Xia Ping the most was not this, but the huge planets floating in the sky. No, they were not planets. They should be Gaia. These Gaia were sleeping in midair, floating in the sky like countless stars. They emitted extremely terrifying power, distorting this space and time. Moreover, these Gaia were extremely powerful. They were at least in the Archean realm, and a considerable number had reached the invincible realm. They were filled with ancient epic-like auras. Each Gaia had the power to suppress the heavens. If these Gaia were to go out, they would be able to wipe out all races. It was no wonder that these Gaia were called the strongest race in the universe. They were terrifying beings that were favored by fate. There were too many experts in this race. Buzz, buzz, buzz. In an instant, Xia Ping's divine senses spread out and instantly covered a radius of 4 billion light-years, easily covering every corner of Gaia Paradise. No matter how big Gaia Paradise was, it was impossible to have an area with a diameter of 4 billion light-years. Moreover, he was not worried that his divine senses would be sensed by other Gaia. His divine senses were silent and could easily blend into the depths of the void. Even a lower god would not be able to detect it. There's a city in this place. Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. In his divine senses, a huge city appeared in the center of Gaia Paradise. That was the Gaia city built by Gaia. A large number of underage Gaia would live in the Gaia city. They all transformed into human forms and lived, entertained, and studied in this Gaia city. The reason why the Gaia in the sky would reveal their true forms was because they were in a deep sleep. Due to their large size, they naturally could not stay in the Gaia city and could only float in midair. However, this was Gaia Paradise, so these Gaia were not worried about enemy attacks. They floated around with peace of mind, which was why such a starry sky appeared. I see. Are Little Gold and the rest in Gaia City? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. His figure flashed and silently blended into the void. With a teleport, he arrived in Gaia City. At this moment, Xia Ping's figure was completely hidden, as if he was transparent and lost his sense of existence. No Gaia could detect Xia Ping's existence and could even pass through his body. Huh? Xia Ping blinked his eyes because he found Little Gold, Tan Menglu, and Chong Xiaoqian staying in a luxurious villa in Gaia City. They seemed to be very carefree and did not have any awareness of being under house arrest. Especially Tan Menglu. It was unknown if she had been captured too many times, but she had long gotten used to it. It was as if she treated this place as her own home. Chapter 29:15. At this moment, in the living room of a villa in Gaia City, the place was filled with a dazzling array of food. The aroma nearly filled the entire villa. As for Tan Menglu and Chong Xiaoqian, they were eating heartily with relish. Especially Tan Menglu, she was wolfing down the food. She was quickly finishing the food at the speed of 1 plate per bite. As for the Gaia girls beside her, they were all sweating profusely. They were going in and out of the place, constantly moving the food. They were exhausted. Too slow, too slow. All of you are just too slow. Is this how you treat your esteemed guests? Why are you so slow? Are you trying to starve me to death? Tan Menglu yelled as she rapped the table with the spoon in her hand. She had a fierce look on her face. Sorry, our chefs have already done their best. Since a few days ago, we have already exhausted a few chefs, a Gaia girl said in an aggrieved manner. The Taoye's appetite was just too terrifying. His stomach was like a dimensional stomach that could not be satisfied. No matter how much food he ate, it seemed like it could not fill up. As chefs of the Gaia race, they had plenty of stamina, but they were completely unable to withstand the Taoye's raging appetite. After several consecutive days of high-intensity labor, it had exhausted a few chefs. Now, they were all unconscious. What? Upon hearing this, Tan Menglu's voice rose by an octave. Do you mean that your Gaia race is so useless? You can't even do something as simple as cooking, and yet you are exhausted? You still have the nerve to say that you are powerful? Are you just bragging? If you can't do it, say so earlier. Don't force yourself. After all, I'm not a devil. The group of Gaia girls were infuriated. The thing they could not stand the most was other races saying that their Gaia race was incompetent. This was practically touching their reverse scale. How much did the bastard Tao belittle them before he would let it go? Don't worry, it's just a trivial matter. You are an esteemed guest of our Gaia race. Your food and lodging for the next few days will naturally be on us. Our Gaia race will not let our guests go hungry. A Gaia girl stood forward and said through gritted teeth. In this kind of situation, even if they couldn't, they had to do it. That's good. But if you can't do it, just tell me. Although I'm a very honorable and great guest, it's not a big problem for me to go hungry for a while. I can still tolerate this kind of small matter. Tan Menglu said casually. She said it on purpose, retreating in order to advance. There's no need. This is just a small matter. Even if it's Taoye's appetite, our Gaia race can completely satisfy it. A group of Gaia girls said angrily. They were so angry that they couldn't stand Tan Menglu's goading. As the mighty Gaia race, it would be an utter disgrace to the Gaia race if news of their guests starving when they came to Gaia Paradise were to spread. They would never allow such a ridiculous thing to happen. That's good. Otherwise, I'm really afraid that I'll get hungry and eat this house. Tan Minglu said in satisfaction. She had tricked the group of Gaia girls with a little trick. Furthermore, they were willing to work hard to make delicacies for her. Gaia Paradise was indeed a paradise. By the side, Chong Xiaoqian was confused. She didn't know what had happened and was enjoying her delicacies. Don't worry. I'll instruct the kitchen to speed up the food preparation. The food will be delivered 24 hours a day. The group of Gaia girls quickly left after saying that. As for Tan Minglu, she continued to chomp on her food with a look of oblivion. The group of Gaia girls quickly left the villa and headed for the nearby kitchen. They gritted their teeth as though they were indignant. Damn it. That Taotai is too much. She came to our Gaia Paradise as a guest. We told her not to stand on ceremony and she really didn't stand on ceremony. She practically treated it as her own home. A Gaia girl gritted her teeth. She was infuriated when she saw Tan Minglu's appearance. Isn't that so? She has only been here for a few days, but she has already eaten hundreds of years of food reserves of our Gaia Paradise. If this continues, all the food in Gaia Paradise will be eaten by her. A Gaia girl said with lingering fear. But that fellow actually has a master. What kind of rich person can afford to rear such a Taotai? It's just too terrifying. The group of Gaia girls found it hard to imagine who could afford to rear a Taotai. Even if one had a planet at home, one shouldn't be so prodigal. Regardless, she is an important guest of our Gaia race. After all, she has not only brought back a new and powerful sister Gaia, she has also allowed a few sister Gaia to grow to the realm of ancient sages. If not for them, we wouldn't have gained another sister Gaia. A Gaia girl said in a deep voice. That's true. The people who help our Gaia are all good people. They are all our honored guests. Although that Taotai has eaten a little too much, it's nothing. But that Taotai has eaten too much. It's so much that it's scary. Who can afford to rear her? Thankfully, the coming-of-age ritual will begin in 2 days. When that time comes, we can chase away that Taotai. That's right. There's no need to entertain that Taotai in 2 days. If she continues eating like this, even the weeds in our Gaia Paradise might be eaten by that fellow. Anyway, there are still 2 days. We should work harder and endure it. Since we have endured for several days, we can't fail at the final juncture. Indeed, our Gaia race can't embarrass ourselves in front of such matters. The group of Gaia girls discussed and cheered each other on. They felt that they could tolerate that Gaia for another 2 days. After the coming-of-age ritual was over, they would chase that fellow away. They could no longer entertain such a terrifying guest. If she continued eating like this, even the landlord would not have any food left. At this moment, Xia Ping, who was outside the villa, also sensed this scene. He was speechless. He never expected that Tan Minglu had already become a boss here. It was no wonder she did not have any warning. This place was probably heaven to Tan Minglu. There was no danger to speak of. As for Chong Xiaoqian, she still looked confused. It was best to forget about hoping that she would sense any danger. However, this group of Gaia girls should be fine. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. In fact, when he cast the Hell Golden Crow eyes, he had even used the Hell God Elephant avatar. This avatar could distinguish between friend and foe, good and evil. He sensed that the Gaia girls did not have any ill intentions towards Xiao Jin and company. They had completely treated Xiao Jin and company as important guests. If there's nothing wrong with this group of Gaia girls, could it be that there's something wrong with the Gaia elders? Xia Ping's eyes flashed. Chapter 29:16. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. In the middle of Gaia City, there was a huge altar. At this moment, many Gaias had gathered at the altar. Even the Gaias in the sky had woken up. They had all arrived and the atmosphere was solemn. Leading them was a Gaia Grand Elder. It was said that the founder of Gaia Paradise was this Gaia Grand Elder. Without this Grand Elder, there would be no way for so many Gaias to gather. She had transformed into an old woman and emitted a powerful aura. She had reached the demigod perfection realm and seemed to be just one step away from breaking through to the realm of gods. Xiao Jin, Chong Xiaoqian, and Tan Minglu remained in the villa. This was because only members of the Gaia race could participate in the coming-of-age ceremony. At this moment, Xiao Dumbo and the other 5 Gaia Lolas were brought out by the elders to the center of the altar. Very good, my children. Welcome back to the Gaia race. Welcome to adulthood. From now on, you will contribute to the Gaia race. I hope that you will be proud of Gaia. The old woman held a walking stick in her hand and said amiably. The 5 Gaia Lolas were very excited. This was the first time they had seen the Grand Elder of the Gaia race. Furthermore, they were so close to her. It was a great honor. Xiao Dumbo stood there in a daze. She did not say a word and just looked at the Gaia Grand Elder. At this moment, a figure appeared in midair. It was Xia Ping. However, he had retracted his aura and blended into the depths of space-time. Therefore, even the Gaia were unable to discover Xia Ping's traces. They did not notice any outsiders. Indeed, there's something wrong with these Gaia elders. Xia Ping's eyes flashed coldly. Under the observation of his golden crow hell's eye, he could sense that the Gaia elders were emanating a rich, evil, and dark aura. It seemed to be incompatible with the universe's origin laws. Even their souls deep within their bodies were not compatible with Gaia's body. Vaguely, he realized that the souls of the Gaia elders were not simple. They emitted powerful divine powers and contained unfathomable soul powers. It can't be. Have these Gaia elders been possessed by gods? Xia Ping clenched his fist. He immediately discovered the secret of this group of Gaia elders. They were all gods in the guise of Gaia. All of them were gods that should have fallen in the old era. But now, they had awakened and possessed the body of the Gaia race. They had reappeared in this universe, and it seemed like it had not been a short period of time. To be honest, there were not many creatures that could accommodate the souls of gods, but there was no doubt that Gaia was one of them, and it was the best body for a god to possess. After all, Gaia was the child of destiny of this cosmos epic. Their talents were said to be the strongest in the cosmos and were unique. Becoming an undying saint upon reaching adulthood was an inconceivable existence. Of course, even Gaia, who was only at the sempiternal realm, found it hard to withstand the might of a god's soul. At the very least, they would have to reach the immemorial ancient state in order to barely be able to withstand the soul possession of a god. That was the reason why the Gaia race would hold this coming-of-age ceremony every time they leveled up to the immemorial ancient state. In truth, how was that even a coming-of-age ceremony? It was more like a possession ceremony. These gods of the old era wanted to groom the body of a god one after another so that they could be revived into this cosmos and cultivate once more, leveling up continuously. And indeed, their plan was going smoothly. The entire Gaia paradise had been taken over by these gods. Other than those Gaia who had yet to reach adulthood, all the Gaia beings above the immemorial ancient state had been possessed by these gods. How was this Gaia paradise? It was more like a den of thieves. Trying to possess little Dumbo's body? What guts you have. To think that you would dare to offend me. All of you can go to hell then. Xia Ping's eyes let out a cold glint as his killing intent surged. If it were any ordinary unparalleled saint who wanted to deal with these gods, it would most likely be something impossible. But for Xia Ping it was much simpler. Even though they were gods in the past, after possessing someone else, they would only be able to unleash the strength of an unparalleled saint. At the very most, they would only be stronger than ordinary unparalleled saints. He had killed many demigods like this before. It was nothing at all. Even if all of these demigods were to come at him together, they wouldn't be a match for him. All right, the ritual has begun. Relax your bodies and don't resist. Release the defenses of your souls. At this moment, the great elder of Gaia smiled and said amiably, "At the start, you might feel a little pain and discomfort. But this is a very normal phenomenon. This is the blessing of Gaia. From now on, you will be free of illnesses and disasters. Very soon, you will all become members of our great family." A cold glint flashed in the depths of her eyes. But none of the Gaia beings noticed it. The Gaia elder who was standing at the side also let out a playful and greedy look. Very soon, they would have 6 new companions. Their forces would also get stronger and stronger. And this era of the universe was ultimately the era of their gods. It couldn't be shaken. In their eyes, these Gaia beings were just their bodies. They were just puppets or even food. Living beings below the level of gods were just ants. They weren't even worth mentioning. Great Elder, I can feel a strong aura of disaster coming from you. I'm afraid you're going to be in trouble. At this moment, little Dumbo suddenly spoke. The other 5 Gaia Lolas were a little stunned. What? Chapter 29:17. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm afraid you've been deceived by that so-called master. The Gaia Great Elder shook his head. And our Gaia race is a supreme existence. There's no such thing as a master. It seems that you've been enslaved by other lives since you were young, and your mind has long been distorted. Don't worry. As long as you go through this coming-of-age ceremony, your mind will be cleansed. You'll become a member of our great family and won't have those strange thoughts. There was a cold glint in his eyes, and his killing intent was boiling. Although he did not know how he was exposed, the existence behind Gaia and Dumbo had to be captured and killed. It was not the era of the gods yet. Their resurrection must not be known by other lives. Otherwise, they would definitely be in trouble. It doesn't matter if you don't admit it. As long as I kill all of you, all problems will be solved. Dumbo said calmly. Kill all of them? Upon hearing this, the Gaia Grand Elder immediately laughed out loud. It looks like your master has brainwashed you very seriously. You actually want to kill so many of us, Gaia. Do you know how many demigods we have here? 1,000. 1,000 demigod Gaias. Do you know that? This strength is enough to sweep the entire universe. You actually want to kill all of us. If we Gaia weren't a peace-loving existence, we would have unified the entire universe long ago. There wouldn't be any other top races. Do you understand the weight of our Gaia race? The other demigod Gaia elders also laughed and looked at Dumbo mockingly. Rumble, at this moment, the entire Gaia paradise shook. It was covered by a powerful territory power. It completely enveloped and eroded all the laws of the universe. At this moment, time and space seemed to have stopped. All of the Gaia, regardless of their strength, were unable to move. The Gaia elders who were laughing were also dumbfounded. They maintained their state of laughter and were fixed on the spot. They felt that they were bound by an extremely powerful magical power. Their bodies could not move at all. Even their eyeballs could not move at this moment. Boom! Void ripples appeared in midair, and a figure walked out. He looked down from above and appeared in front of the Gaia elders. This figure was Xia Ping. Who are you? Seeing Xia Ping appear, all the Gaia elders were shocked. After all, they were gods. Even if they were only left with their souls, they still had strong senses. But now, there was actually a life form that could hide from their senses, silently appear before them, and even use the power of a domain to suppress them. What kind of power was this? Xia Ping of the human race. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, calmly looking at the Gaia elders. Impossible human Xia Ping? Wasn't he the youngest saint of the human race, the genius that appeared once in 1,000,000,000,000 eras? You should have just become an undying saint not long ago. How did you become a demigod now? The Gaia Grand Elder was dumbfounded. To be honest, although it was in Gaia Paradise, it was very clear about the situation in the entire universe. It knew the geniuses of every race like the back of its hand. This was because it wanted to capture all these geniuses and use them as the bodies of the revived gods. This youngest genius of the human race naturally became the focus of its attention. When the time was right, it would personally take action and capture this demon. However, it did not expect this human genius to appear before it. Furthermore, he was no longer an undying saint, but a demigod. He had already grown to the peak of the universe. What kind of joke was this? Even driving a spaceship would not be able to cultivate so quickly. Undying saint? I don't even know when that happened. gods from the old era like you should have long been buried in history. You shouldn't be stirring up trouble. This is no longer your era. Xia Ping said calmly. Bullshit, foolish fanatic. A mere mortal dares to spout nonsense in front of a god? The Gaia Grand Elder roared. It no longer intended to hide and directly scolded. You were the one who spoiled our plans just now. Now you want to deal with over 1,000 of us demigods. How foolish. How can you imagine the power of a god? As soon as he finished speaking, Xia Ping's figure flashed and broke through the void. With lightning speed, he instantly appeared before the Gaia Grand Elder. What? The Gaia Grand Elder was alarmed as he turned pale with fright. He never expected the human to be so fast that even he could not catch a glimpse of him. In an instant, Xia Ping lightly tapped on the Gaia Grand Elder's forehead. A terrifying magical power seeped in. However, this was no ordinary magical power. It contained the magical power of the Yellow Springs holy water. To these remnants of the old era and dying gods, there was no doubt that the Yellow Springs holy water was the best weapon. Damned mortal, you're courting death. The Gaia Grand Elder roared angrily. Just as it was about to counterattack, it suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream. It was even more tragic than the sound of a pig being slaughtered. This was because it realized that a terrifying power had seeped into its soul. It was the power of the Yellow Springs, a purifying power. Like acid, it rapidly corroded its soul. Even though it was a god, it could not withstand the corrosion of the Yellow Springs holy water. "Ah, lowly mortal, what have you done to me? What have you done to me?" The Gaia Grand Elder screamed. It hugged its head and fell to the ground, screaming. Large amounts of white smoke emitted from its body. It sizzled as if it had been tortured. "Nothing much. I just wanted to send you back to your grave." Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back. "You said that I did not know the power of gods. This is because you are inexperienced. You're just a god. I've killed many of them. You're not the first." He looked calmly at the Gaia Grand Elder. The Gaia Grand Elder's eyes widened. It wanted to say something and even retaliate. However, it could not say anything. It could not even retaliate. With a thud, it fell to the ground, bleeding from its 7 orifices. A crystal-clear godhead even fell from its body. It sizzled and emitted large amounts of white smoke. The Gaia Grand Elders could not believe it and panicked. They could sense that their comrade was dead. It was completely dead, the kind that could never be resurrected. A mere mortal could actually kill a god. What kind of joke was this? They could not help but gulp. It was as if they could not believe the scene in front of them. It was too ridiculous. Chapter 29:18. Damn it. Do it. Kill him. The group of Gaia elders roared angrily. They felt a fatal crisis. If they did not kill this kid, they would all be finished. No matter what, they had to kill this kid here. Rumble, in an instant, the Gaia elders attacked together, displaying a terrifying torrent of laws. It came crashing down and instantly blew up the area. The entire Gaia city was subjected to an extremely terrifying energy fluctuation, which could destroy everything. Obviously, these Gaia elders no longer cared about the extent of damage to Gaia Paradise. Even if they had to go all out, they had to kill this human, Xia Ping. Tao Tai Avatar. In an instant, Xia Ping stood on the spot, motionless. A terrifying Tao immediately flew out from his body and opened its mouth. It was like a boundless black hole. In an instant, the entire altar was covered by the Taoye's black hole, as if it had devoured the void in all directions. Even the light was swallowed into the Tao Tai Avatar's stomach. Bang bang bang. In the next second, countless torrents of laws blasted and attacked the Tao Tai Avatar, forming a terrifying energy storm. If this energy were to erupt completely, it would be enough to completely destroy the entire Gaia Paradise. However, it was useless against the Tao Tai Avatar. It opened its mouth and swallowed all the torrents of laws into its stomach. It was as if this attack had transferred all the attacks to the dimensional space in its stomach. No matter how the torrents of laws exploded, it could not hurt its body at all. Almost in an instant, all the torrents of laws and divine power were devoured by the Taudai avatar. How is this possible? Seeing this scene, many of the Gaia elders were stunned. They could not believe what they were seeing. Their full-powered attack had no effect on this human. Just how strong was this human? How could he be so strong? Even though they had lived for countless years, they had never seen such a terrifying demigod. If they did not feel the divine aura from this human, they would probably think that this human was already a god. Some of the Gaia elders had lost the courage to fight this human. Everyone, don't be fooled by this brat. Even if it's a Tao Tai, it still has its limits. It might be able to withstand one of our attacks, but it's impossible for it to withstand a second or third time. One of the Gaia elders bellowed, as long as we continue attacking, there will come a time when this kid can't take it anymore. When that time comes, we'll definitely win. We'll be able to easily destroy this guy. Upon hearing this, many of the Gaia elders were enlightened. Indeed, that was the case. When they saw the scene just now, they nearly despaired and wanted to flee. However, thinking about it carefully, this kid was only a demigod. No matter how powerful he was, it was impossible for him to be so ridiculous. There would always be a limit. Moreover, they now had the advantage in numbers. Facing a mere demigod, they were actually scared to the point of running away. What a scandal! If the other gods were to find out about this, they would lose their face. For a moment, they calmed down, and the murderous aura on their bodies became more and more condensed, almost to the point of solidifying. Evil Eye Doppelganger. Xia Ping looked at the group of Gaia elders calmly. He summoned his second doppelganger, the Evil Eye Doppelganger. This was a terrifying evil god from the evil god universe. It was a dominator-level god that could rival Quetzalcoatl. One could imagine how powerful its bloodline was. Rumble. The moment the Evil Eye Doppelganger appeared, 3,000 evil eyes appeared in the depths of the void. They were like terrifying eyeballs born from the chaotic void. They were distributed in all corners of the void, covering 360 degrees. In an instant, these evil eyes emitted terrifying, dark, distorted, evil, cursed, corrosive, and other powers. Even the origin laws of the universe were distorted by this evil god power. An endless dark domain spread out. This was a power darker than the abyss, more evil than hell, and more terrifying than all the sins in the world. This was a power that even Quetzalcoatl could not replicate. It was completely chaotic and evil. It could not be explained, looked at directly, predicted, detected, or described. Its mere appearance in this world was an absolute disaster. What is this? One of the Gaia elders was stunned. He did not know what was happening. He did not know the existence of the evil eye and subconsciously glanced at it. Just one glance and he went completely crazy. Ah! In an instant, the Gaia elder let out a shrill scream and fell to the ground. Blood flowed out of his orifices and he kept rolling on the ground, as if he was experiencing unimaginable pain. This was because the moment he looked at the evil eye, he immediately felt an indescribable and inexplicable evil god power invade his soul, distorting it and even penetrating the godhead. That's right, the evil god power was so evil and unreasonable. It could directly penetrate the defenses of the godhead and corrode the godlike soul, causing the god to fall. This was why the evil god was so terrifying. It made the gods of many universes tremble in fear and avoid them. Moreover, the higher the level of the evil god, the more terrifying the evil god power, and the more unsolvable the corruption power. As the highest level of the evil god, the evil eye was an existence that could be compared to the blind and foolish Azathos of the god of darkness. One could imagine how terrifying the corruption power of the evil eye was. In just an instant, it went completely crazy. In an instant, its soul was corrupted by the power of the evil eye. It was as if the soul within its godhead was distorted into thousands of pieces. It was not dead yet, but it was already very different from being dead. Ah! It was not just this Gaia elder. Most of the Gaia elders subconsciously glanced at the evil eye. In an instant, they also encountered the same attack. This terrifying corruption power of the evil god instantly spread into the bodies of the Gaia elders, directly eroding their godheads and distorting their souls. They immediately bled from their orifices and fell to the ground, losing all combat power. Monster, this is not human at all. It's a monster. Run, run quickly. This is not a power that this universe can have. This guy must be a god from another universe. Quickly report to the other gods and let them be careful. Don't look at those eyes or you will die for sure. The remaining Gaia elders who were still alive shouted. They were extremely panic-stricken and no longer had the arrogance and haughtiness they had earlier. All of them ran away like stray dogs, wishing that their parents had given them more legs. Chapter 29:19. However, the Gaia elders could not escape at all. All their actions were futile. Boom! In an instant, Xia Ping's heart stirred. He activated the power of the 3,000 evil eyes. Immediately, beams of dark light burst out, piercing through the void of the universe. Dong dong dong. The speed of the dark light was so fast that even the Gaia elders, who had been possessed by the gods, could not escape. Their bodies were instantly pierced. Whoosh! In the next second, the souls of the Gaia elders were corroded by the power of the heretic god and distorted. All of them let out shrill screams as blood flowed out of their orifices. Their bodies were filled with the terrifying power of the heretic god. At this point, all the Gaia elders were dead. Not a single one was left alive. This won't do. The power of the evil eye is too evil. I can't use it too much. Xia Ping's heart stirred. He sensed that the power of his evil eye avatar was trying to corrode his body. The power of the 3,000 evil eyes was too terrifying. Although his body had strong resistance, if he used it for too long, he would be completely devoured by the power of the evil eye. He might even be transformed into an evil eye. He immediately retracted the evil eye avatar and removed all the power of the heretic god. At this moment, the golden crow inferno in his body burned, burning away all the corrosive power of the evil eye. It turned into wisps of white smoke and dissipated. It looks like I can't use the evil eye avatar so easily in the future. This power is too strong and of a high level. Furthermore, it attacks indiscriminately. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. Although he had only tested it a little, it was enough to prove how terrifying the evil eye avatar was. It killed indiscriminately and could be said to have the power of a nuclear weapon. In fact, he did not need to use the 3,000 evil eyes. The power of 300 evil eyes was probably enough. And if he used the 300 evil eyes, he did not need to worry about his body being corroded by the power of the evil eyes. At this moment, a group of Gaia Lolas looked at Xia Ping and the Gaia elders who had died tragically on the ground in horror. The reason why they were fine was because Xia Ping had controlled the power of the evil eye. He did not harm the Gaia Lolas. Otherwise, they would have followed in the footsteps of the Gaia elders. At this moment, they were in a panic. They had no idea what had happened. In just an instant, the seniors of the Gaia race had all died. This was an unimaginable disaster. Even if they had heard something about a god taking over their bodies, the problem was that it was just a one-sided story from this hateful human. Compared to the senior that they had been living with day and night, their senior was naturally more trustworthy. How could they believe a human so easily? Demon, you are a demon. Let's go all out against this demon and avenge the elders. Whoosh, update fastest in the next second. Pieces of godheads that had been purified by the netherworld holy water dropped from the Gaia corpses. There were a total of 3,000 godheads. Every godhead was at least at the level of a middle god. There were even some at the level of a higher god. However, there was no godhead of a dominator god. After all, such existences were rather rare. They would not resurrect so quickly. And there were a total of 3,000 Gaia elders that had been possessed by these gods. Among them, 1,000 were Invincible Realm and 2,000 were Archean Realm. This was equivalent to the high-end combat power of the Gaia clan. One could imagine that the Gaia clan was completely treated as food by these gods. they had captured all the higher-ups in one fell swoop. If Xia Ping had not appeared, these Gaia clans would have been treated as the bodies of the gods. However, there were still many Gaia Lolas left. There were a total of 30,000 of them, and they were at least in the sempiternal realm. The reason why there were so few high-end combat power was that the Gaia clan took too long to grow. Moreover, they were all lazy and did not work hard at cultivating. It would be strange if they could grow fast. Moreover, they were very few in number. After living for so long, they only had 30,000 companions. Mobile phone. However, if they were to advance to the demigod realm or even the god realm, it would be very terrifying. That's great. When the Gaia Lolas saw this scene, they were extremely excited. This was because they could sense that the bodies of the Gaia elders were slowly recovering. As long as they were given a certain amount of time, these Gaia elders would be resurrected. God-tier Great Devil, you're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.